He's lump.
Our contestant is Carlos. His friends call him Los. Los?
That's right.
I'm gonna totally throw that into the beginning of the show.
So we're not gonna actually just play you on the radio.
Do you want to?
Well, that clip has to come from something. As far as our 2 listeners are concerned, that clip has to come from something. There's got to be a frame of reference.
Okay, fair enough.
So we are playing it.
I think we need to play at least a bit of it. But, I mean...
I think what we should have done, the reason why I don't want to do it now is because I think what we should have done is stop it at each question, and you guess whether I got it right or wrong, just to kind of, thicken this out a bit.
Can we not still do that?
Yeah, we can do that.
All right.
We can do that on the fly.
All right, we can do that.
And we're going to be live on Facebook, so listeners can write in too?
Yeah, sure. Let me put it back on. Let me make sure I got it queued up in the right spot.
You're up.
In the early 2000s. There's only one He's good. He's good. Come from the boards. I'm going to the hallway, Los. Good luck to you, man.
He's Australian.
Let's do it.
Carlos, I can't bring myself to do it. Sorry, I'm going to be like your mother and your teachers at school and call you Carlos when everyone else calls you Los.
Yeah, Carlos.
Is that right?
From the UK.
All right. All right, Carlos, we've got NBA nicknames.
No.
We've got superhero alter egos that you would know if you watched their movies, and Earth Sciences trivia.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Man, Earth Science or superheroes. Let's go with science, huh?
Okay, Earth Sciences trivia.
I can't hear it, goddamn.
All right, here we go.
Earth's atmosphere.
I mean, I could have stopped it if I could have just heard it.
Man, Earth Science or superheroes. Let's
Our contestant.
You don't want it. Oh, you don't want it at the first question?
No.
We're going to play the whole clip.
We're gonna do the whole clip
So that this has reference.
Our contestant is.
So they know where that comes from.
At least we'll start from there.
Los.
That's right. Hey, how's it going?
All right. Okay, so you just want to start it there?
Yeah.
Before that part.
Before that, like the intro.
Is at the Samuel. Your opportunity to see Wolf Parade. They're playing at the Mohawk January 26th. Go.
Okay, boom. All right, perfect. That's queued up. All right, let's do this.
All right, hang on.
That picture
All right,
looks
so,
like a city that
but
James
first we
Bond
do the
would blow
Brew
up
World
in an
Order.
opening scene in one of his movies.
Excuse me?
So that right there, it looks like something James Bond would blow up in the beginning of one of his movies.
Fucking gorgeous town.
I
Look at
know,
that.
but that's like he'd be chasing someone across those fucking rooftops, and then a bomb would go off, and one of the buildings would sink, and like the opening scene of a Bond movie always has to be that big. Holy fuck!
That'd be pretty sweet. Holy fuck!
Holy fuck!
Rakins. Oh, wait.
Sam Squanch.
That's a fucking Sam Squanch. I know. Oh, I know. They're dirty.
Did you see what Bubbles got from Santa for Christmas this year?
No.
He got the wood grain Telecaster, or replica of the wood grain Telecaster that George Harrison played at the rooftop concert.
Really?
Special ordered it from the Fender factory.
Who? He did? So
yeah,
he
so it
ordered
wasn't really from Santa, but that's
Okay.
what he claimed anyway.
You just don't get those for free.
No, you do not. Because they don't actually make that. Like, that's not even a thing you can buy.
We ready?
Yeah, man.
Yep, let's do this. I'm going to have this playing right now.
Contradictory ones about the same topic. So that was another study. But yeah, those were the sort of the early ones, I guess.
Okay. Like, as far as conspiracy theories go, shouldn't we be, like, maybe a little bit suspicious of them? Because they typically involve, governments, large corporations, things where the vast majority of the population doesn't see, like, the inner workings, and so they have just limited information and knowledge, and they generally kind of fill in the gap. Is that, isn't that just kind of human nature?
Yeah, to some extent. And we know that people come up with more conspiracy theories when they're in a position of uncertainty, right?
Okay.
If you don't know what's going on, you have very limited information, you're trying to make sense of what's happening, that's when conspiracy theories are more likely to appear.
Okay.
That if you give people this feeling of
Hey
uncertainty,
guys, welcome
they
to
get more
another
suspicious about things.
episode of Emergency Exit Podcast. We're getting started here. Welcome back. We got a whole jam-packed show today. Shit, you guys will hear. Shoot.
Shoot.
Here's from episode 33, Dr. Wood.
Really robust and specific and can account for lots of different bits of evidence, right? It's easier to try to disprove something and to try to come up with evidence that doesn't fit a particular theory than to build a new theory that does fit that
let's get
evidence.
started. You guys
and all
ready?
the other evidence.
Right. So it's more like it's arguing this doesn't make sense as opposed to I for sure have the answer.
Yeah, we got
Because
time.
it's unknown, so they can't really form a solid
Get on the road. Does anybody
story. It's just easier to knock down
He was
the other one that you're unsure of, I guess.
30 miles down the road.
Yeah, that's
I was going to
basically
give
the
him
idea.
5.
And
5 minutes. Wow.
conspiracy theories, like this is the
Good
main
old
sort of
Dr. Wood.
thrust of my
This was a
my
cool
own work.
episode,
Everybody
man.
I wonder-
else calls
Good talking to
this
him.
I wonder what that guy's up
kind
to
of
nowadays.
conspiracy
Oh,
theories.
you know,
My
still studying
big one for the moment
the
is
theory of
basically
conspiracy.
theories.
What was the psychology
And they do
behind
best when they're vague,
that?
right?
Yeah.
Right.
Like when a conspiracy theory
I think
gets
it was a good
super specific
episode.
and it
I
says,
liked it.
this
I
happens
liked
and this
it.
happens and this is exactly how that works.
Yeah, I wanted to. I want to talk to him more.
Puts itself out there.
I
They
bet he
don't
would
tend
do
to
the show
very
again.
well.
I
know he
And
would.
Successful conspiracy theories are the ones that are
We
kind
need to
of
get Carrier back.
amorphous,
The
right?
Jesus guy.
Like if you
Man,
look at the
I
9/11
was-
truth
yeah, I
theory,
wasn't
there's
fortunate
no
enough to
single
experience
theory
that.
everybody rallies around. You have the people
He said
who
he'd
Sure.
be back
think
whenever.
that, they
Yeah.
let it happen on
Yeah,
purpose.
man. We
Let's-
could get
You
Dr.
have the people
Carrier
who
back.
think
And
that,
Well, if Los had his batteries charged, wasn't that the issue last time? Y'all were going to record this little conversation. The batteries were dead.
missile
When he was up at Baker Street.
space lasers and there were no
oh,
planes at all.
yeah.
Massive
When we went to see
It's
the
tent, right? They
when
call
we
it
went to see the
like
doctor.
Why we didn't
They
like
have
hit him
these
up and like
disagreements
ask him
No,
questions?
when we went to
For the
see
most
him,
part,
that your
they
battery was
don't
dead or something.
like to
For
do
what?
That, right?
I thought you were going to like record it.
No.
or something.
I decided against it because we're not there to do that.
Oh, that's
Sure.
Okay.
All right, it all
But
stems
he
from
said he'd
there.
be willing to come
Do
back
you
and be a
believe
guest again
what,
whenever.
what story do you believe of the 9/11? Let's
we
hear
should
it.
come back.
Yeah.
Well,
totally.
Fucking
for basically the
Doctor
reasons
again.
that I just
All right, let's turn off that standby screen and let's get this working.
We had a second viewer for a little bit.
Wait, by the way,
I know who that was.
let's not talk about how many viewers anymore.
Okay.
All right.
No number. No. Okay. Gotcha. He's got a point.
God damn it. All right, welcome to the show. Here we go.
Let's do it.
Just calls him like he sees him. Look at him there at the mixer board. Working like a madman.
You are now listening to
You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it! My life has value.
I do tend to explode only when by myself.
Let's go play therapy. No medication, no suicide thoughts.
That's evil. Being stupid about it is evil.
I'll let myself off. I know where the emergency exits are.
That right there, that's a passenger running along the tarmac after jumping from the plane.
Standby off.
Exit.
Let's go to John in San Diego. What's going on, John?
Can you address the Bohemian Grove?
You start calling me a foreign agent, those are fucking fighting words. Excuse me.
I am capacitated to sit in the emergency exit row of this aircraft.
Jobless. Here we go.
Regular exit might not be the quickest or safest way out. Emergency exit.
Hey, this emergency exit is painted on.
There's no way out. There's no way out.
That's right. Now is the time to open your mind. In our search for the unknown, who knows what we will find? This is Emergency Exit. This is episode 62. Today is January 15th. We are broadcasting to you again from our floating tin can. I'm your host, Los. With me, as always, is Nick, the Passion Rider.
That's right.
That is right. Welcome back, Nick.
Thanks.
And we got Brandon, the Hard Hat Mitchell.
I am here. Right here.
We are here again, broadcasting our second show of the year. Welcome back, everybody, on Facebook, where we are live.
That's right.
And everyone that's listening to us.
later on down the road.
New talent.
You know, could be the next day.
New format. New year, new something, right?
New year, new something. It sounds more like it, but I don't know about new format. But
we're just leaving it open.
We don't know what we're doing yet because we don't get feedback enough, and that's your job. So you guys give us feedback, and we'll improve it or keep it as it is.
It's a free show every week, and all you got to do is like fucking email or comment on something and say, "Hey, I listen."
Yeah. Or
you know,
what's your favorite segment? Something you hate.
Right.
You know.
I'm just feeling kind of lonely. You know, I want these people to say hello. What's up, Los? We're here.
Is this thing on? Hello.
We used to have a lot of listeners in San Francisco.
Canada too.
Canada is right.
Maybe they stopped listening because we were pronouncing their country Canada.
He's
that
got a
might
point.
be a point.
He's
that
got
might,
a point.
It
there.
is a little disrespectful. I can
didn't
see
even think about that. My goodness.
All right, we might need to whiteboard.
Let's rethink that. Let's rethink this.
New year, new something, and that's going to be what it is right there. No more calling Canada.
See, that's.
Did I just do it again? Yeah, that's right. All right. So today we've got the news. Hard Hat has got neighbor beef. Needs some advice. Later, we're going to find out how white privileged you really are.
Wait, neighbor beef? Like, he robbed his neighbor's deep freeze?
You'll see.
And stole some beef?
Well, I guess you're going to have to wait and find out, Nick Ryder. But it's going to definitely be before we find out how white privileged you are. And then, well, actually first.
We're doing that first.
First, we're doing the Brew World Order. Let's do it, guys.
It's the Brew World Order.
It's actually free, by the way. That was free.
Why you gotta fucking shit all over it like that? God.
Yeah, because you shit on me. I've shit back. Maybe I shouldn't shit on you. Dude, I told you.
If that's y'all's thing,
how did I shit on you?
And cut.
Edit point.
I bet everyone's like looking down at their like phone, like, what the fuck just happened there?
What the hell did I?
All right.
Buffering.
No, you're not. What are we at here? We're gonna do We are doing a Brew World Order. What do we have, Nick Ryder? What do you see there in your hand? He's got it.
We've got from Uncle Billy's Brewery. We've got the Green Room IPA, and it's got a very, very Austin-looking dude with a big old beard and some round glasses, a button-up shirt and tight jeans with a guitar fucking hanging over his shoulder. As the logo on the can here, it's very, very Austin-looking.
Oh yeah, man, that's a hipster right there.
I wasn't going to use that word in case.
Yeah, they're probably not. They're definitely not hipsters. But hipster's such a bad word to say about somebody that's like cool when they're in fact like, yeah, you're hip, you know, and that's what hipsters do. They're hip, right?
I mean, by definition of the word, then yeah.
Why do you gotta get all
a hipster
fucking?
Is just someone who's with the times.
Unless you're watching the show Community, in which the old.
Which
the
nobody
older,
really is.
The old people are called hipsters because they've all had hip replacements.
They are.
So I wish I could take credit for that. That Dan Harmon, love.
That's right.
All right.
All right. So we're about to crack it open here, everybody. Let's go here. This is Uncle Billy's Brewery, the Green Room IPA. Cracking it. Let's do it.
I actually waited to have a drink this time.
Good.
I haven't sampled
right,
our.
We're gonna toast here.
World Order yet.
Cheers, fellas.
And then we're gonna talk about it a little bit, and we're gonna give you
right.
our rating from 1 to 5. That's right.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's a light hop, not crazy hoppy.
Yeah. That's actually almost chuggable.
Yeah.
Chuggable. You could take a big old swig and not.
Well, you're
kinda,
so chuggable.
Yeah.
Chuggable.
Lovable. Unbelievable.
So yeah, you got it.
No, something.
I'm gonna read what it says on here on the can here real quick. So it says, share one with a local band, inspired by the live music capital of the world.
Green Room.
The Green Room IPA is a happy and hoppy beer that strikes all the right chords.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, God. I see what they did there.
This tasty brew tunes up taste buds.
Oh, I love it. Keep going.
With some intense grapefruit flavors.
Say something about keys.
Herbalicious aromas sustain the experience, which finishes with a bright citrus notes.
Notes.
All right. Oh, I was laughing at the citrus part.
It is 7.11 alcohol, so 7.11.
7.11.
And on the bitter scale, it's a 60. On the,
is that what that number is?
The IBM. That's
I didn't know that.
That's the bitter scale.
Tell me, do you know anything about that?
I don't know too much about it. Maybe we should. Maybe on the next one we should learn about that.
I think that the higher that number is, the more bitter the beer is.
So what is it on a 1 to 100 probably, or 0 to 100?
Yes.
Okay, maybe we'll let's bookmark that and we will come back to it.
Yeah, we'll get
I
to
say knowing all sorts of things about IPA.
So if you're listening now and you don't know what the IBU number is, don't spoil it. Just wait a week, and we will present it to you in exactly 7 days. We will be back, and we will let you, our listeners, know
we'll
what the
finally
IBU
answer
is.
this mystery.
Yeah,
we
exactly.
will find out, and
we will Scooby-Doo
we will get to the bottom of it.
Tune in, and we will find out. And we're back. Craft enthusiasts enjoy exploring the depths of Pints Uncharted.
Oh shit! It's been 7 days already.
I'm looking this up right now. It should be pretty easy to figure out.
I was hoping it was. I was.
IBU is an abbreviation for the International Bitterness Unit Scale, a gauge of beer's bitterness.
Okay.
So we were right about that.
It makes sense that the higher the number, the more bitter it is.
Right.
Right.
Unless your baseline is bitter.
Yeah. See, and then I have to keep reading on here, and I haven't done any proofreading before.
Does
that.
Google have some sort of conversion where it will tell you? I don't know. I know they're
Converting
real good
from
with
what?
I realize that. Sorry, edit point. Yeah.
Maybe if I go with the scale there, let me see, IBU scale.
I mean, because it's not that bitter. So I would imagine if this is a 60 and it's 1 to 100, this ain't that bitter. Like, so maybe it's 1 to 537 and a quarter.
Yeah, I bet it's a really random number with the decimal like that.
Not?
Here, I'm
That's how you
gonna
make
read
scales.
this here. The IBU correlates well in most cases with the century bitterness of beer, and this is why brewers use it. Almost all the beer you'll ever drink will have a measured IBU between 5, which is very low measured bitterness, up to 120, which is a very high measured bitterness.
So this is halfway.
Most beer falls in a narrow range within these parameters between 15 and 18, but 80. Excuse me, but that's the gist of it. I'm fucking reading on the flow.
Yeah, that's fine.
Reading on the flow here, but there you go. So 15 to 80 is about what we usually get. So we're halfway in the scale of 120.
Yeah. That's not bad. That's a comfortable range for me. I like that.
That was a long talk on Brew World Order there. So that being said, Nick Ryder, what are your thoughts on this and what's your rating? Gulp, gulp, gulp.
It's not bad. Not bad, but I don't know that I would hang out in this green room.
Really? Because you're not an IPA guy in the first place.
I'm not an IPA guy, and we've had a few that have proved me wrong.
Yeah, like the double IPA we had last week.
But this one is not proving me wrong. I'm not super impressed. So I'll give it a straight 3, just right down the middle of our 1 to 5.
Straight 3. All right.
Straight down the middle.
Hard hat. What do you think about this, buddy?
Man, this is actually very enjoyable. I had never had it, and I'm actually the one who picked this up on the way out. On my way over here. I had never had it. I had never seen it, never heard of it. So why not? Picked it up, and I saw it was an IPA, and I've learned through actually this segment that I kind of like the lighter IPAs. And man, this is kind of a hit. I mean, this is a solid 4 for me.
See, now you know to look at that IBU number as well.
Yeah,
and we all learned
right about
something
60
today.
Is really good for me.
We learned something about what the international bitter units are. The IBU, and I didn't know. I've known about this kind of stuff for years. I didn't ever know what that actually meant.
So does that mean now we can change our genre in all the iTunes listings and all that as educational?
We can go educational.
Yeah.
I
think there's a minimum. You just have to learn one thing.
I think we could have done it either way. It doesn't matter. We are kind of spreading the word of conspiracy theories and whether they're bullshit or not. We don't subscribe to any sort of we haven't gotten behind any conspiracy that
we just present them.
But the ones that we have gone behind actually happened.
True.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hitler survived World War II.
Exactly.
A bunch of people in the South got syphilis from the government.
Tuskegee, right there.
Yes. See, so.
And you know what they did about it? Nothing.
Now ain't that a bitch?
That's right.
Damn.
Call back, baby.
Yes.
That's
where we got that sound bite.
Ain't that a bitch?
All right, so Brandon, so you said you had a 4. So I'm going to talk about this a little bit. I do like this. I just have shitty taste buds. I was at work today.
Did you burn all your taste buds off as a kid in some kind of smelting accident, and that's why you can't taste shit, or what?
Yeah, no, I don't know. Smelting. I didn't like smelt anything and lose my sense of smell. But
no, not smell
or taste. Do you know? Do those correlate into each other? Are those two
Smell
different
and taste?
things?
Smell and taste are very, very, very close together.
Drink that beer and hold your nose, and it'll taste significantly
like
different.
if you have a really bad cold and your nose is stuffed up, you can't taste shit.
You can't. Yeah, you can't taste anything.
I believe smell, they've said, is like 70% of taste.
So is that a real? Well, it is its own thing on its own, I guess. But either way,
like why you smell food and stuff, or smell wine before you drink it. Like you smell things.
It's a thing.
It's part of the tasting experience.
You know, I want to find something that has a really thick bitterness. I want to know what that beer is, and I want to taste it so that I know where to gauge it, because I sort of like the bitterness. And this one is sort of...
I mean, I'll try it for the sake of the show, but I'm going to fucking hate it.
We should let you, so you should still take it.
It might sit right down there at the bottom with the Beerito.
Yeah, well, the Beerito's 0, man.
That
horse. And you know, when I went to Oscar Blues, a brewery, it wasn't, I don't think the brewery, but it was in Denver. Maybe they do have a brewery there, but I was at the tap room, and they had the Beerito there. And I tried, it's not that bad. I think you drank a bad batch.
Whatever it was.
A bad batch?
Bad batch.
A bad batch of the Beerito.
Bad batch Beerito.
I mean, I can't imagine that a good batch is much better.
Right.
All right, so let me continue on with this real quick, guys. I do dig it. It's got a little extra hop than I thought originally when I said, oh, it didn't have that much hop. I'm drinking it more and getting that IBU of 60 or more. Now I'm all
because you can totally call out a 60 IBU. Somebody 3 minutes ago didn't even.
But
know.
now here's a new little thing we can do.
Such a refined palate in such a short time.
A new thing we can do is like we can taste it and then we can guess the IBU.
Okay.
You know, and
so this is our baseline.
And you know, it'd be great if we guessed the alcohol content, but it's hard to taste alcohol content, right?
For what? Fuck it. So, hey, what do you think the IBU is? And if you get it right, you what? Get another beer?
First of all, I'd be like, Sylvester Stallone, thank you for joining us, man.
I don't even drink beer because too many carbs in it, you know. And when you get to be 70 years old, it's really hard to keep your abs. And
dude, you're so good.
I watch a lot of Stallone movies.
I bet you did, man.
No, did. Currently, still do.
All right.
Still do.
All right, let's, so...
I forget that he's a Republican.
I'm about to give my rating here, so listen up here. I definitely like this beer, and it's not going to be lower than a 4. Actually, not lower than a 3.5.
Oh, please, build up more.
Because I want to... build up more.
Please, more build up, more build up.
Okay, bottom line.
What's he gonna rate?
This is gonna be a solid 4.2. That is the Brew World Order.
It's the Brew World Order.
All right, you guys. We've got the news, but first I thought we'd play this clip. So I wake up in the morning every morning. I have 2 alarms that go off at the same time.
2 alarms that go off at the same time. Never mind. I'm not going to question your waking up practice.
Well, I'll tell you what it is. I don't set a bunch of alarms. I set 2 at the same time, but one is a radio that will stay on. So So I have my radio, which is right next to me. It's not any further than my phone would be. It's on the same nightstand. So I have my phone set for 6:30, and then I have my alarm clock radio, which is going to play the radio. So
do you sync them every night when you get into bed?
They don't have to be synced. It's going to fucking be the same or around the same. It doesn't matter to me, right? It just has to go on. That's all I care about. So what will happen is that my radio will turn on at 6:30, and then my alarm will go off on my phone, and I'll usually stop my alarm on my phone because it'll just snooze if I keep snoozing it. And so
that's what snooze does.
What happens? It's on 101X. Okay, it's the alternative radio station here in Austin, Texas.
Oh, it's so alternative.
The alternative rock station. Anywho, they do this trivia game where you have to battle against the guy Jason Dick. He's the DJ.
The host. Yeah, he's the host.
His name is Jason Dick, and it's also Deb. What's her name?
Deb O'Keefe.
Deb O'Keefe.
So is his last name actually Richard?
No. All right, so super deep knowledge here. All right, I'm big fan of
by
that
the way,
show.
yeah,
from the native.
The hard hat is a fan of the show for a long time. I just listen for literally about 45 minutes every morning at the same time.
Yeah. I'm not going to get into my listening practices, but yeah, his actual last name is Alvarez. But, Jason Dick, radio name.
Picked Dick as a stage name.
Because it's awesome to say Dick on the radio.
Yeah, because in that way he can get away with it.
All right,
and he's actually in past reason for that.
Okay. All right,
Anyway,
all right.
Super deep cut there.
Good to know.
Yeah, so I called up. You call up, and they do this trivia game. You answer 3 questions. And I called a couple times like the last week because I always hear it, and I'm like, oh man, I could beat this fucking guy. He just fucks around, and it's a good way to win tickets. And they usually give a consolation prize if you lose anyway.
Yeah, you get something.
And so I found out what the number was, and I saved it to my phone. And I called once or twice, and I got a busy signal. And then I only try once, and I go on with my day. It doesn't bother me. It's just something I try because it's something else that's just easy to do. I can call. I can literally grab my phone and just like press the button and it'll call. And so the other day I call, I get a ring in, and then they answer. They say, you want to play? And I said, sure do. And they asked me what my name was, all this stuff, and let's just go ahead and play this clip. So we pulled it because they have a podcast, and this is Jason and Deb in the morning. And
The Morning X.
Here we go.
Not only am I smarter than you, I'm smarter than every person that you know. My brain is a well with feelings and profundity and abstractions. Not an idiot, Woodhouse. Unlike some people around here. I'm a comic man! Our contestant is Carlos. His friends call him Los. Los?
That's right. Hey, how's it going?
What's up, man? Los, did we used to play basketball at Gregory Gym in the early 2000s? No.
Yeah, there's only one Los in Austin.
There's a guy named Los there. He's good. Tough on the boards. I'm going to the hallway, Los. Good luck to you, man.
Let's do it.
Carlos, I can't bring myself to do it. Sorry, I'm going to be like your mother and your teachers at school and call you Carlos when everyone else calls you Los.
Yeah, Carlos.
Is that right?
Carlos.
All right.
Doing it. All right, Carlos, we've got NBA nicknames. We've got superhero alter egos that you would know if you watched their movies, and Earth Sciences trivia.
Oh, man. Earth Science.
Okay, so I thought about the
Yeah, because you did seem like kind of on the.
I thought about this, and you'll see. I don't. You got to know who Jason Dick is, and I only know about 45 minutes every morning at the same time of that same guy, and I've listened to this segment many times, and he seems to know that kind of stuff of superheroes,
okay, so you're
right?
picking it because you didn't want him to.
It's a strategic.
So go ahead and play it.
All right. My bad.
Or superheroes. Let's go with science, huh?
Okay, Earth Sciences trivia.
All right, here we go.
Earth's atmosphere consists primarily of which 2 gases?
Stop right there. All right. So, what 2 main gases consist on Earth? Right. What are the 2 most common gases found on Earth? What do you think they are, Nick? That was the question I got. What do you think? Come on.
Oxygen and not hydrogen. Oxygen and carbon dioxide. Because we all release it, so it's got to be really common.
But plants take it in.
What do you think it is?
I'm like 94% sure it's oxygen and nitrogen.
Oxygen and nitrogen. Go ahead and play it. I don't know if it's right or not. I just
hydrogen and oxygen.
He said hydrogen.
So I said hydrogen and oxygen. So that's what you just said, right?
No, I said oxygen and nitrogen.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Yeah.
You got one of those right. We're looking for oxygen.
Carbon.
Nitrogen.
Oh, nitrogen.
And I said carbon.
Number 2. What is the primary cause?
Here we go. You ready for the next one?
Yeah, I'm ready for the next one.
And she started, what is the primary
cause of Earth's tides changing?
Oh, yeah.
The tide?
What causes the tides to change? Nick?
He just said it, right?
Oh, did I miss it?
moon.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
They're from the moon.
What is the scientific...
Just a quick aside.
Speaking of flirters,
Get on your soapbox, sir.
let's go ahead and talk about
Do
this,
it.
right?
Get up there and go.
So today
Go for it.
we were supposed to have an interview
For the third
with
time.
with a flirter. Well, at least it was going to be the second time. Let's just give him the credit. The second time
well,
we
true.
tried
The
to go
first
with him.
cancellation was us.
Yes,
So that
And
was our fault.
so I've been talking to this guy from a flat Earth community on Facebook. Which I always get blocked. People block me all the time because I always say something and they contradict each other, and I always call them out. Anyways, this guy was all interested. He when I argued with him, he didn't fight back. He didn't call me names. He fought, with the civil attitude, and I appreciated that. And then I said, after a while, I said, "Hey, man, would you care to come on?" And I vetted him a bit. Would you care to come on? I didn't want some guy that was crazy that would call us names and call us a fucking asshole or something. I want someone that actually had something
Present an argument
that could
with
present
evidence.
exactly, and he had something he could talk about. But
Okay. Cool.
so the first couple times we fucked up. That's right. This time he knew he was coming on. So last night around 11 o'clock, I'm already fast asleep. I get a Facebook message. That's how we've been communicating.
Okay.
It says I'm not going to be able to make it. I'm canceling, he said. So I left him a message saying, "Man, you're committed. You should do this. If there's anything I can help you with, let me know, to get you on." He hasn't hit me up all day. I blocked him now because I've given him enough chances.
Because last week he canceled too.
He canceled last week, and he was always one to say, "I will debate anyone on Flat Earth any day."
And he also said, quote, "Don't worry about me making an appointment. I will always show."
He also said that. He goes,
And that was
I've never missed an appointment in my whole life. And he missed this one. Matter of fact, that's one of the things I said to him. I guess you're missing this appointment that you made.
We broke that streak.
I'm not gonna say his name, but
Nah, we don't need to.
it rhymes with Devin, and that's all you need to know.
Okay, that's fair enough.
All right, so
heaven.
There you go, man.
Blevin.
I'm sorry to everyone that tuned in just to get a flat earther interview, but that's just what's going to happen. Luckily, we've got
more to this game.
We've got the news, and so
we got more.
We still got to finish the game.
Oh, we're not done with this.
No,
We're still with me on.
Got to the third one yet?
Yeah, here we
it's
go.
the last question. Go ahead.
Name of the Northern Lights.
Scientific name of the Northern Lights.
Anybody out there?
Aurora
just think about it if you know it.
Borealis.
Oh, good job.
Yeah, you totally got it, man. You'll hear you just go ahead and play mine and pause it right after that.
This is a gold mine.
That's the Boris Aurealis, Areolis Borealis.
I was about to say, what's it?
Areolus Borealis.
I need to actually
Boris
pull that.
Aurealis?
That's
Yeah,
what I
that's
should
good.
pull. That's
That
the clip
is
I
good.
should pull.
That's going
Boris
on the soundboard.
Aurealis.
Oh my god, that is so.
Areolus Borealis.
Oh, we
That's
should
a
have
good
we
one.
should have totally pulled that. Instead, I pulled this from this because it sounded funny. Here we go.
Our contestant is Carlos. His friends call him Los. Los?
That's right.
Fucking Forrest Gump saying that's right.
And how often do you get a radio DJ, saying your name?
Yeah, you know what? I've been meaning to do this because there's been a couple times I've been on local something, and I should pull that. I've been on.
you should.
I've been on
You're just a
Infowars.
local whore.
I've been on Infowars more than a couple times, and they've said my name up more than a couple times. They've said the podcast name more than a couple times on their show.
And we haven't brought any of that.
We never pulled any of that stuff. And when I try to pull it, when I go to it, it's already gone, the live stream that was on months ago. Because we need to be more proactive and get it right away. We play it, we pull it right away. But that's it, man. So we
you're
got
on the radio, man.
I was on the radio, man, and I won tickets. By the way, he. We're not going to play the rest of it, but he ends up getting the moon right, and he gets his answer for the Northern Lights was the stars.
Of course they were.
What a dick.
The Northern
What a dick.
Lights.
Yeah, he didn't get the first one right because I don't think anyone gets that right really that easily. Hydrogen and oxygen are the two most common.
No, nitrogen. Brandon got it right.
No, I got it wrong.
I thought you got it right.
I got nitrogen, but it wasn't oxygen, was it?
Yeah.
Was it oxygen?
Oxygen is.
Oxygen
Well
is
then,
the
fuck,
main
I got
gas.
it right.
Yeah.
Well then, fuck, I got it right then. I got it right.
Didn't you say it's nitrogen?
Yeah. Nitrogen was the other one.
Okay.
Yeah, if there were just a little more nitrogen in our
Hydrogen,
atmosphere.
oxygen, hydrogen and nitrogen. Hydrogen, oxygen, hydrogen. Yeah, I'm getting confused here. I don't know which one's fucking
it couldn't
which.
be nitrogen, because if nitrogen was like one of the main gases in the atmosphere, we wouldn't be able to breathe. So.
Well, no, we breathe in a lot of nitrogen. If they're like most.
No, I'm saying if hydrogen was the other main gas.
Yeah, we'd be dead.
We'd be fucked.
We'd be dead.
It's definitely oxygen.
All right. Fuck, man. I'm too confused. You listen back, you call us, you let us know.
Let us know.
Put up the number.
O and N.
Go ahead and put up the number for anyone that wants to call us, you guys. Our number here is 830.
555-4444. Go
It's
ahead,
coffee
give us a call.
talk.
We'll talk.
Give us
We'll
a
have
call.
coffee,
We'll
whatever.
talk.
What's the number?
Go big wolf.
What's the number?
The number if you want to call is 830-875-0637.
That's
Call
right.
now for your chance to win.
There's no winning. Just call in
No, you
and
can
give
totally
us.
win.
If you win, you get through.
You win. Yeah, that's
You can
that's
win.
That's your
what it
prize.
is.
You
So
can win a shirt. You can win a shirt.
Yes, you will win a shirt if you call and get through.
in the meantime,
Coach, you're not included.
let's
in that.
go ahead and
Yeah, sorry, Coach.
let's get the news, you guys. We would have had a Flat Earth interview, but we're going to do the news instead because you know what I do is I get up every morning after I call into 101X to try to win. I look at the news, the local, whatever the news pops up for Google, and I find stories that are great. I find something, and this is I compile a list up throughout the week, and that's what I'm going to do. That's what I do for news stories, and now it kind of sort of pays off because now I have a bunch of stuff that we're going to use.
Last minute.
We
Opening,
if we have something that we're working on, but we're not quite ready to present it yet, which we have tons of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We're not ready to present it. We put it on hold, and we have news shows, and which is why you've heard a lot of these. I'm kidding.
Every single show.
It's not every single show.
I'm kidding.
So let's. I'm gonna get straight into it. Like Nick.
No, you start. You start.
I'm starting, but there's this thing that popped up about India Willoughby. Willoughby doesn't matter. She's
Willoughby,
a trans. It's a transgender reporter from UK who's on Celebrity Big Brother in the UK, and so they get into this conversation. All the people that are there. One notable figure that's there is Genuine.
Why is he in?
You can ride his pony.
Celebrity Big Brother UK.
Well, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Right. UK people can be in ours. We can be in theirs.
Fair enough.
Why you have to try to separate? And come on, this is Martin Luther King Day. You gotta. Why are you trying to separate, motherfucker? Because he dreams. Okay, I'm getting too far.
Yeah, stop.
So Genuine gets called out for being kind of a transphobe. So here's the clip from Big Brother. You should listen to this.
See, for me, this is the problem because I don't know whether you would say it or not, but I feel that a lot of guys would not go out with somebody like me, even though I'm a woman, because they would worry about the connotations of it being confused with gender queer.
I think it's even more about, I think that we live in such a binary world where people think there's two options of gay and straight. And I think they think, I'm having sex with a woman who's trans, therefore I'm gay. And I think that's why these conversations are important because
Okay, so they make up. She makes a very good point about this. If someone is a heterosexual male that has sex with a transgender woman, a male to female, does that make him a gay man? Now, let's say that person still has a penis, and he had sex with that person who's a trans woman. That's sort of
biologically speaking, that is homosexuality.
Yes.
Yeah.
But so this is what she's trying to defend there, I guess. That idea.
not fragile masculinity at the end of the day.
Fragile masculinity.
Which is what it is.
Which is what Alex Jones has been fighting for a long time. This is just
how fragile masculinity.
How
have balls and be strong and masculine and man. It's pretty fucking fragile.
That they're putting chemicals in the water
And
to
turning
turn
the frogs
not
gay.
just turning you gay, but turning you into women so that you know you have more feelings. And I'm animated.
That men think that it takes something away from them, from being with a trans woman, and ultimately it's got nothing. Like, it's because they're held to this rigid idea of, like, I'm heterosexual, and if what does that mean? I don't know who I am anymore in this world if it's not binary.
I think society tells people it's not okay, and that's the thing. And I do believe society is changing, and then I believe it's your choice too. Like, I would choose not to. Like.
Okay, so
And that was Genuine that just said that.
Genuine goes
It was your
choose
choice
not
too.
to.
Which
It is,
exactly he's
yes.
correct. It's,
I mean, I can get on. Yeah.
Like, I choose not to have sex with dudes.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
Some dudes.
I don't know about Brandon though.
Some dudes do.
I like to refrain.
Okay.
Some guys
No, I
should
just
have
wanted to make
sex
that
with
clear.
guys. Now, I'm fine with that. That's not my taste. Like, everybody has a taste. I even prefer women, but I wouldn't go for every single woman. You know, like, you have your taste. You have what you find appealing, what you find attractive. You know, just because I'm into women doesn't mean every single woman in the whole world is attractive to me. Right? Like,
that's weird, man.
Well, I'm sorry,
No,
but
I get
not
you.
everybody is attractive to everybody.
Right. You have
know,
your
like, I like to
types,
think I'm a pretty good-looking guy, but I'm sure there are heterosexual women that see me and go, nah, no
Sure.
thanks.
There seems to be a
Not
type of
interested.
girl that digs my look.
You know, so and that's fine. Like, everybody has. You can't help what attracts you, what
just
turns
because,
you on.
Just because you have the
Period.
parts doesn't mean you're attracted.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
And
Correct.
so this trans thing, to me, I mean, there's more to it, so maybe I should go too deep into it yet until we hear the whole thing. But, like, there's definitely a mental aspect behind, like, because this reporter, I know we don't have the video of, but this reporter looks every bit woman. Like, there's no man here. This doesn't look.
I disagree 100%.
I thought the one sitting next to him was a drag queen, so it's obviously a dude and stuff. But, like, I could see this being just a woman. Like, if you had not told me that this used to be a man, I would never have known.
See,
this
there's a
used to be
difference.
man.
See, for me, when I see, there have been some women that are men that I've been fooled before.
Oh, sure.
But in this case, you're not fooled by this. It looks like a man who's
Isn't that the
turned
premise
into a
of
woman.
the
It
movie
looks
The
like
Crying Game?
It looks like a Caitlyn Jenner type. You go, that looks like a man. It's got a strong jawline, and it's got it's got resting bitch face. By the way,
I mean, she looks like a Stern woman for sure, but I did not
like a Howard Stern.
Because when you first said, "Hey, this is about a reporter that is trans," I did not pick that one when I was trying to guess who it was.
You thought it was the
I thought that
the
one was
better
a woman.
looking one.
So you couldn't.
I would not have thought
pick her
that.
out.
No, I would not have thought that she used to be a man.
Did you think the one that was?
I didn't go.
sitting up.
She's attractive, but I
doesn't
didn't
matter.
think.
You didn't- yeah, you
I
just
did
didn't
not
find
think
her
that used to be
attractive.
a man. I just so. I mean, there are so many levels to what you find attractive or what you find. That's why I think, as much as we push for equality in every single facet of life, porn is still the most racial segregated thing ever. Like, you need Japanese porn, Korean porn, there's black porn, there's white porn, there's Asian porn. Like, it's so
But wait a
segregated.
minute. Okay, so wait a minute.
Am I wrong? If you ever go to a porn
You're-
site,
hold up
they've
a
got
second.
it divided by every single possible race.
Okay, so you call it.
You get Brazilian porn as opposed to just Latin American porn.
Hold up. You call it.
Cite your sources, sir. I need to investigate these.
I only use Pornhub. I don't know what everybody else uses. but
You call it
Because-
hold up, you call it segregated, but isn't it just putting it in categorized? Isn't that just what
right,
that is?
But when you're categorizing things by race, that actually is the definition of racism.
No, dude, is it?
I can.
It's
yeah, when you're
literally
separating
Due
things
to
based
the race,
on race.
that is absolutely the definition
that
of
is-
racism.
All right, calm
that
down.
is
Okay,
segregation.
calm down. Take a breath. Now listen here for a second.
I'm not saying it's wrong because you know what? I click on certain types of porn because I'm here to watch porn and
It
I want
works
to watch
for
something
you.
that
You
excites
know
and
what works
arouses
for
me,
you,
and
yeah.
only certain things arouse
And
me.
big black cock is what it does for you. But give me a second here, okay? Now, it's not literally racism. I mean, yes, you're talking about the racism because that's how it became, and that's what we're dealing with in this time day and age. But really, it's just putting things in categories. Like, fiction, you know, or you've got adult fiction, you've got, you know, this and that.
But you don't have Japanese fiction, black fiction.
You do. You have Japanese modern art. You have Japanese this. You have Korean art. Like, you can put the connotation of any race before any sort of art, and you'll know it's Mexican art.
Mm-hmm. I mean, no.
Right,
I mean, he's got a point.
That's a fair point. That's a fair
because
point.
I think it just comes
so
down.
Porn is art.
Well, yeah.
Yes,
well,
of
the only
course.
difference between
Are you
porn and
fucking joking me?
But yeah, you guys know the joke. The only difference between porn and art is a government grant.
That's true. That's all right, fair point. Sorry, go on with this interview.
All right, here we go. Here we're going to continue on with this.
That doesn't make me
you would go out with another woman.
Would I go out with another woman?
You would go out with a woman.
Yes, of course.
You wouldn't go out with a transgender woman.
No.
The fact Genuine here, you know, is happy to go with women, but he's not happy.
Every woman.
Yeah, but he's happy to go with
Exactly, right there. Not every woman.
Someone jumps in and says,
hang
not
on,
every woman.
coming in on the Facebooks, it's not racism until a stigma is attached to it, and probably more thoroughly like a negative stigma is attached to it.
there is positive racism.
So is there positive?
Well, who's to say?
All Asians are good at math.
Well, who's to say?
Well, that's a stigma, though.
Right. But
Okay,
it's
so
still,
okay,
it's a positive-
I retract the negative stigma.
Right.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, that makes sense.
But you're
It's not
correct.
stigma.
Whoever wrote in on Facebook,
Yeah.
you are correct.
Yeah.
Who wrote that?
That was Cara Dupree.
How about it?
Dupree. Is there? I wonder if
Dupree.
there's a relation to
How
Jermaine. Anybody?
Jermaine Dupree?
Yeah. No.
I was going cousin Dupree from Steely Dan.
Let's go and continue on
I
with
don't
this
know that
clip,
one,
guys.
That's
Women, but he's not happy to go. I'm just saying he wouldn't feel comfortable going with what is termed. He wouldn't feel comfortable going with me. If you're in my situation and you're trying to date, there is an extremely narrow band. And from my experience, I'm not gay, but I've tried to date, and everything that comes back, you know, guys have chatted me up not knowing my past, but then as soon as they find out, whoa, I'm a woman, right? Forget about any tease or anything in front of it. I'm just a woman, okay? So on that score, you would date me, wouldn't you?
And now you tell me you
No, I'm not telling you I'm trans. I'm a woman.
A woman, yeah.
You would date me then.
Woman, yeah.
Go on, let's have a kiss.
So she tried. She goes, "Give me a kiss," and he goes, "No," and starts laughing. Now, let me be honest. I'm gonna be stern and fucking honest.
Do it.
Howard Stern.
A person who has a penis, whether you call yourself a woman or not, I will call you a woman if that's what you want to be called. But if you have a penis, you are a male. That's that's it. That's my. I'm sorry if that offends anybody, but I will respect your right to call yourself a woman.
And you will acknowledge that person as
and that's a person.
Right.
I will call her you know, this and that, but that you are a man for reals. I mean, that's what it is. I'm sorry if that offends anybody, but I respect what you want to do and what you believe in, what you want to be called, and I will go by that. I will ask what your pronoun is, what your preferred pronoun is, you know. But in reality, what I believe, you're a man, and I'm sorry. That's what I have to say. Nick?
I can see both sides, because as, say, this reporter's case, like, I want to go out and date. I want to find men. I want someone to be interested in me. But as soon as they find out that I'm trans, they're all disinterested.
And who wants to be with a person that, like, doesn't want to be with them?
I mean, I'm sure there are people. There's Rule 34. There's something for literally everything. You know, like
it exists.
And I feel awful that you, as now a woman, can't just go out and date regularly like women do, because you have this stigma with you that now every guy's going to freak out.
Sorry. God damn, that was crazy.
Yeah.
I think that. I mean, they should have every right to just be a woman, and I mean, obviously, that's like you divulge your past and stuff to partners. You should.
Right.
And if they don't want to deal with that, then
bully for you.
That's
that's
their problem. That also means that you yet again are still lonely, and I get that sucks. But I mean, some people don't like certain things. I mean, I've tried to date someone and they bring up something. I'm like, nope, I don't want to deal with that. Yeah. And you don't deal with it.
Doesn't make you a bad person, just something you're not willing to deal with.
Sometimes it can make you shallow. Sometimes it could make you whatever. But, I mean, I could pretend that I was okay with it and not be and make both of our lives hell for a long time or whatever. Like,
you're right, man.
It really sucks for this reporter who can't even get a date because of who she used to be, not who she is now. And that truly sucks. And if I was to meet her on Tinder or something or whatever, be set up on a blind date or however it might happen,
right?
I can't honestly say that I wouldn't even be freaked out when I knew, you know, like
when she told you or when you found out.
Yeah, I don't know. I imagine that I would kind of be the same as General. Like, no, that's fine. I support you doing that.
But just not.
I'm not into that. I'm not going to do that.
Okay, so yeah, you made this point when I played this for you earlier to break the fourth wall. There is that he might have came across it wrong and should have said something to the point like, you know, I would probably date a transgender if she looked more like a woman, like, but you like.
Yeah, please use an actual pronoun, not it.
Yeah, it. I don't know if that was her preferred pronoun or not. So I was just I'm being a jerk, but. Obviously, when you look at her, maybe I'm just a crazy person, but Genuine wouldn't date that caliber of woman.
Well, no,
you know, that's
again,
an ugly woman, and by all standards, that's an ugly woman.
Not everybody of whatever gender you find attractive is going to be attractive.
Sure.
Period. Like.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I'm trying to say. There is that you're not gonna just because you're a transgender and he's like you're the one that's there next to him.
It doesn't necessarily mean he has to be like, fuck yeah.
And like because you're asking him these questions, he's obviously thinking that this is what you're talking about him or her, excuse me. And he goes, "No, I wouldn't date you. Not that you're not good looking or anything."
Although she did say if I was just a woman, he goes, "Yeah, but not if you told me you were as a." So he did sell himself out on that point, to be fair. But still, like. I mean, that's a tough one to crack. I mean, and someone at the very, very beginning of the clip brought up the how sensitive or what was it, the fragile masculinity. And yeah. I think that's absolutely what it is. That's why a lot of dudes who are like super tough dudes can't be around a gay guy. Because, oh my God, and it fucking insults their masculinity somehow.
I have no problem around gay guys.
No, I don't give a shit.
I love hanging around
but
those
there
guys.
are some that are so macho.
Hilarious. Always good times are promised.
Right, but how fucking macho can you actually be if it's that easy to disrupt it? Then you're obviously not that fucking macho.
Well, no, because it's all a front. Because
right, exactly.
In a way, society kind of makes young boys as they grow up kind of put on this front,
right? Absolutely. But when it comes to, I'm saying like, all right. So I mean, I was using that as an example. So the masculine vibe, that fucking what it takes to be a man. Is so puffed up bullshit. Like it is a giant balloon.
Yes.
It gets big, but it's easy to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Completely. So the whole idea of masculinity is false because it's that easy to break.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be tough and rigid
and you shouldn't,
and blah blah blah, and it shouldn't be like bam.
Yeah, it
and
shouldn't
it's
be
gone.
that fragile.
So that's not masculine as we like to talk about it. But I don't know. Like again, that's up to each individual. I mean, that was the whole premise of the movie The Crying Game, which then was parodied in the first Ace Ventura movie. When he found out he kissed a man and like lit his clothes on fire and was like pushing the plunger on his face in the shower. They were even playing the song.
Is that from that movie?
The song in the background of Ace Ventura was I know what it is to play in the crying game. It's the fucking song from the movie.
Damn.
Because that movie was about a guy who dated this woman, even had sex with her, but then found out she was a man.
Get the fuck out of here. Is that what The Crying Game is about?
Yeah.
I've heard about that movie. I've never watched it. Is that what it's really about?
Yeah. And he obviously had a fucking meltdown when he found out he's been fucking this dude.
Your gun's digging into my hip.
And that's what Ace Ventura was parodying. So, like, yeah, now imagine, though. I mean, that's funny, but now imagine that you are a trans person and you see that scene, and this is the repulsion that is caused by simply what you are. I mean, that's got to suck, too.
Yeah, that's got to be... Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a weird thing, but had Genuine not made that one statement of, oh, if you're a woman, yeah, then I think he could have been good to go. You would have got off scot-free, like, I'm sorry, I don't happen to find you personally attractive, end of story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that would have been pretty simple to
Sadly, he went farther.
Leave it at that. Now, do you think there's a certain level of ignorance involved with it being, you know, I mean, I don't know anything about Genuine, but, I mean, you know, maybe he's a very smart, intelligent person, but do you think there could be a chance of just pure ignorance?
Potentially. Or maybe he just doesn't know a really PC way to say, if I know that you used to be a dude, I can't get turned on by that.
Yeah,
is that so like?
And
is that so bad?
I don't think
that's
so out of line. I mean,
I don't think that's
I can see both sides of the argument, and I'm saying me personally, I don't think I could get turned on by that either.
Yeah.
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with being trans.
Guns digging into my hip.
You can't shame somebody for something that they're not into.
But I'm saying I don't think that I don't know.
Yeah,
I guess I've never met one, but I don't.
Let's move on to the next
anyway,
one.
Next story. Whose turn's next?
Let's go ahead, bud.
All right, so in a fucking, of course, Russia is where what the fuck started.
Yep.
And so to go along the lines of real life taking after video games, I don't know if anybody's played Grand Theft Auto.
I've played Grand Theft Auto, yep. Vice City's one of my favorite ones. Vice City.
So, a man in Russia has reportedly rammed a stolen tank into a supermarket before climbing through the rubble to steal a bottle of wine.
Okay, I have so many questions.
Yes.
Oh, no, that's it. That's all I got.
All right, moving on.
Oh, wow. You can't just leave it there.
No. Okay, so the armored vehicle was taken from a motorsport training ground nearby. Now,
what, a motorsport?
A motorsport training ground.
That was one of my questions. Where did you get the tank? So you got it from a motorsport training
Which to me,
ground.
motorsport is what, like little race cars?
I would think go-karts or something, but apparently
Why
they
there's
have
a
tanks.
fucking tank there? Now,
when you think motorsports,
dirt bikes,
a
like
tank
derbies or something like that
is probably the last on the list if we're talking motorsports, right?
Near motorsport.
But that's Russia.
So
that is number one motorsport in Russia.
In Soviet
is tanking.
Russia.
Soviet Russia, sports motor you. So it was at this motorsport training ground nearby before the man drove it through a forest.
Through the forest. Yeah,
Through
yeah,
the
of course, 'cause
forest.
you drive, yeah.
Yeah, you know, honestly, that would be a place that I would drive a tank. Just like
Into a
mauling
forest,
down trees. Like
trees.
how powerful you are. You're like, gung,
So he
gung,
drove
gung,
it
gung,
through a
gung,
forest
gung.
into Apatity, a town just south of the Arctic Circle. So he's like way up there.
They're getting so sick of that fucking 24-hour sun.
Right. Struggling to turn around in a narrow street, the man, who witnesses said seemed drunk. Well, of course, he's Russian. I mean, they have
Come on,
vodka for breakfast. We have vodka for breakfast.
That's racist, dude. What
They actually do.
Stating a fact is not racist?
Yeah.
Proceeded to slam the tank into the convenience store's window, trying to turn around. He also crushed a Daewoo car parked nearby.
A Daewoo car?
A Daewoo.
Yeah.
They also make TV.
The land version of the Seed. No. The little. Just, all right. Nobody gives a shit about the Daewoo. So the footage shared on social media, because there were obviously people out and about and around, showed the man subsequently got out of the vehicle through the hatch.
Okay.
Briefly inspected the damage. Kind of looked around and going, holy fucking
At the
hell.
window he just smashed?
Yeah, and went into the shop through the broken window. He was later arrested in possession of a stolen bottle of wine.
Red wine?
But they didn't. They just for the stolen wine.
Yeah,
nothing
for the
for the
stolen wine.
tank.
Witnesses visible in the footage did not seem particularly disturbed by the incident. Quote, Basically, some guy stole armored vehicle and went into shop to top up his stocks in the morning.
No big deal.
Says the person filming the scene. The man in his late 20s did not resist arrest.
I mean, he had a
He
good
went
time.
willingly. No name for the man. The Russians apparently don't give the names. But, yeah, so, I mean, a lot of questions. First off, yeah, they got him for the stolen bottle of wine, not the stolen fucking tank. The property damage. And how do you just steal a tank? So, Grant, okay, fine, whatever. Russian motorsports keep a tank on hand. Why was it open? Why were the keys fucking in it? Like, how does he get into the tank and start it? How does he know how to drive it? Obviously not very well, because he ran over a car and a building. But still, like, what the fuck?
You know, I've thought about this before. Like, how do you start a tank? Is there like a key, or is there just like a press start button? Because you know, NASCAR's,
it's just a
like
sequence of switches and buttons.
Yeah,
right?
you're just like drop, because you don't need it.
They have a kill switch.
You
right?
you don't necessarily need a key because it's not something that like you're going to carry around with
Right,
you
I
all
don't
the
think
time,
you just
right?
have this little keychain for a fucking tank. I'm sure it's something different, but
it's easily something that can be lost. So I'm sure he knows the sequence to turn the switches, and he's able to start
we don't have
the
a lot of
vehicle.
background. Maybe this guy knew about this brand of tank and how to turn it on, but still, why was it
Well,
open?
let's face it, all Russians know how to operate tanks, I think.
Oh, God, and my statement was racist? But how did he get into it? Why was it not locked?
See, now that's probably on someone because whoever owns that tank tells their employees you got to shut that shit off, you know, or I mean lock it up because someone will turn it on because it takes switches.
I guarantee goddamn to you that Daewoo he ran over was fucking locked.
The Daewoo.
Let's get that number on the screen.
Yeah, somebody call in, talk to us about stealing tanks and
if you have
and bottles of wine.
Yeah, if you have experience.
What's the
stealing a
more
tank.
serious offense, stealing a tank or a bottle of wine?
In Russia, probably the wine.
Maybe it depends on the bottle of wine. Maybe it was like a really good fucking year.
Oh, true. Maybe it's like a 1994 vintage.
Sadly, 94 could be vintage.
It could be, yeah. That was the joke.
What's your story? What do you
My
have?
story, man. All right, so I think it'd be safe to say we all love pizza, right? You like pizza, Los?
Does the fucking Tin Man have a sheet metal cock? Hell yeah, I love pizza.
That's a hell yeah. Nick, I'm going to just venture a guess that he likes pizza.
Here,
Most
wait,
of the
quiet.
population.
Can you hear him peeing?
I hear a phone.
Guy sounds like he's a fucking. Oh,
right.
that's the storm coming in, y'all.
Oh yeah, here it is. So anyway, yeah, we all like pizza. What about cruises? Have you ever been on a cruise on a ship?
I would love to, but I've never been on a cruise.
All right, so and then combine that with some EDM music, some pizza, EDM. Yeah, just nonstop, right? So this Norwegian cruise line left port in of all places, Florida. So
okay, started in Florida.
You pack a Norwegian EDM with lots of pizza with a bunch of Florida men and probably a few women. And they all get to their cabins, and the little note in there reads as following. Due to incidents on previous sailings in which patrons engaged in uncouth behavior in the cafe, we feel it is our duty to remind our guests that pizza is for eating, not fornicating.
Oh.
Sexual acts with our handcrafted pizza can bring unintended health consequences and can pose a safety hazard for other passengers aboard our journey.
I can't believe. So they must have walked in on somebody fucking doing an American pie to the pie pizza pie.
To the pie. I mean,
but a dish pizza.
Well, it would have to be because if it's a thin. You'd have to fold it over, and it'd be like fleshlight style.
I was gonna say maybe you're just like fucking grazing along the toppings,
just like grinding on it.
Yeah,
like
dry humping.
Well, my first question is why pizza the first food to have sex with? Why not?
Because it's so greasy.
Watermelon?
That's like lube.
That's exactly what I'm thinking.
Watermelon, pop a nice hole in that puppy. Antelope.
Maybe this cruise didn't have watermelon.
I'll tell you why you can't use watermelon because once you put your cock in there, it puts a little stamp in there, and like. It doesn't have any of this like you gotta have something to wrap around.
You gotta have a vacuum.
It doesn't wrap around you. You know what you can do with a slice of pizza is you can wrap that shit around your cock and just fuck that slice of pizza.
And you can control the tension. It can be like prom night, or it can be like after 40 years of marriage.
You said it correctly right there. So you fuck the piece of pizza. Now,
literally.
Here's what I have to say about this.
Greasy, that's lube.
Well, you can wipe the grease. That's weird,
I mean,
though.
it's pepperoni especially. I mean, it's just.
I don't know, man. That's really weird, man. Crazy. That's just too weird.
No, that's too far.
Yeah,
In
so
this conversation, that was too far.
So while you're fucking this piece of pizza here, who cares? Like, right? They're saying, "Oh, don't fuck the pizza." You're going, who gives a shit? I will take that piece of pizza, and like this is what they do. It's like they see that memo, and then they go to the pizza line. They're in the pizza line, right? And he grabs a slice of pizza, and he looks at the guy.
What not to do.
He looks at the guy. It's like he goes, he knows this is why we wrote the fucking memo. And he looks at him. He's like, I'm fucking this slice of pizza. What are you gonna fucking do about it, dude? What are you gonna fucking do about it, right?
I'm gonna take this back to my cabin.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna stand there staring right out the porthole, and I'm gonna fuck this pizza.
And then the guy's like, are you going to fuck that or eat it? He goes, I'm going to eat it. But you know that guy's going to go he's going to wrap it around his dick.
Uh-huh.
Now, question is, does he wrap it around starting with the crust, and he wraps the crust around, or does he like start with the tip and then wrap it till the crust is out?
Oh, I see. Okay.
What does he do?
I think that's just going to be a personal preference.
It's a personal preference.
Well, hang on.
Well, wait, is it stuffed crust?
Yes. Yes.
And do you fuck the stuffed crust?
Of course.
And if it was John Holmes, it would be Bigfoot. If anybody remembers Pizza Hut having big.
Nope.
All right.
Nope.
Swing and a miss.
But anyway, that news story that was actually earlier this year. Actually, some fucking like this guy needs to be put like up on a pedestal for like all-time trolling, because it turns out it was just a hoax. Somebody went through to like every cabin on this cruise ship and put this false note on with like on legit letterhead from the cruise. Later on, the Norwegian cruise line released a statement, says that any sexual acts with cuisine are not only frowned upon but are prohibited by maritime law. I mean, but it's lonely out on sea sometimes.
Hey,
sometimes
if you're
all
in
you got is
international
fish.
waters, it don't matter.
That was always my my understanding.
That's we have a phone call.
Someone's coming in, but then they also asked if there's anyone suffering from cytophilia, and that is actually the sexual attraction to food.
Okay.
But that they would to seek attention on the ship's medical deck.
Hey, you're on the air.
if you burned
Emergency
your dick
exit.
on
Who am I
hot
talking
pizza.
to?
You're talking to Doc.
Doc. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Your boys are too young that they don't remember the Pizza Hut Bigfoot.
Right?
We don't know.
Thank you,
Nick was trying to do that.
They had to cancel it because it was so long they can only do one at a time, and orders were backing up the ovens too much. That shit
Well,
was
next thing you're going to tell me you don't remember monster trucks. I mean, come on, the Pizza Hut Bigfoot, that was the jam.
Oh man, I might remember
oh my
that.
God,
but
like in elementary school, every time somebody had a birthday party, you got the fucking Bigfoot pizza, and everybody's fighting for the middle pieces. Damn right. See, Doc knows.
all right.
That was the rich kid in your neighborhood.
Oh yeah.
He's not wrong on that either. No.
Doc, have you been keeping up what
So
we're
what
talking
you boys
about
up
today?
to tonight?
Have you been keeping up what we're talking
What's
about
that?
today?
No, I just tuned in.
My
so, what are you talking about right now?
Just random crazy news stories, man.
Yeah, we just talked about.
A Russian guy stole a tank and drove it into a store and then stole a bottle of wine and got in trouble for the stolen bottle of wine.
Okay. Fair.
We don't give a shit about
I
the
heard
tank.
from the two lesbians who live next door to me that there was a guy hanging out smoking cigarettes in my Jeep on Friday.
Whoa!
They're just sitting in there smoking smokes, huh?
Do you leave it on?
Well, my Jeep has been robbed numerous times
Well,
in
okay,
my
but
gated parking lot.
Gated parking lot.
But yeah,
still
it
getting
was
in.
just like straight cold lamping. It was just like. And it was funny because she told me, she was like, there was this really shady guy wearing a hoodie smoking cigarettes. I was like, that could have been any one of my friends because I had movie night that night.
Okay, it totally probably was one of the homeboys sitting in there trying to stay away from that.
Could
cold.
be. Well, we were doing a New York themed event.
Hey, Doc,
we had
let me ask you-
Muppets Take Manhattan. Yeah.
Oh, you're doing some puppet movies.
Oh yeah, he does movie nights, man.
Well,
We did Muppets Take Manhattan, followed by Escape from New York.
Right on.
wow, old Kurt Russell.
We gotta get we gotta hop in on one of those, right?
Was that James Cameron?
Don't fuck with the Pliskin, yo.
Oh God, Snake Plissken will fuck you up.
Hey Doc, so in the news we're talking about this news clip that came from Big Brother in UK where Genuine was talking to a transgender reporter from the UK and how he said he wouldn't date someone who's a transgender. Would you date a transgender woman is what we're talking about here today.
Oh, that's interesting. I certainly hang out with a lot of transgender people.
Now,
you know, if the parts work, I guess that's okay with me.
There we go, see?
But transgender doesn't necessarily mean
yes, it does.
That's fully transition?
Yeah. To be trans, you have to.
Are you talking full transition, or are you talking,
otherwise
you know,
you can be
basic outward trans?
Then you're essentially cross-dressing, or.
But that's still transgender, though.
I thought to be transgender, you had to actually transition.
Be bona fide woman.
No, you can be trans. You can be trans and pre-op, or be trans and non-op.
So this is okay. So I think we're mostly talking about. See, I'm with you on if the parts work, they work, right? But let's say it's the pre-op version.
Yeah, yo, you got a mouth?
Hey, what a point there, We'll get that thing taken care of.
There's a hole.
You make a great point, man. Why the fuck not, dude?
I think we both know.
You guys have a good night. Have a great show.
Thank you very much, Doc. Take care, man.
All right, guys. Cheers.
Bye. that was
great because he likes Bigfoot pizza. He likes Muppet movies. We made some fucking Escape from New York movie references. I like Doc. Doc, call in every week, please.
Doc, great. And he
call in all the time.
He does give another perspective to it. It's like, you know what? Oh, your mouth works. I go, okay. That's fine. Actually,
I do know a guy. I have talked about him on the show before, so for now he shall remain
nameless.
But he
anonymous and nameless.
He was cruising around and came across this lady on a street corner asking if he needed company. He's like, why not? And they did some cocaine back at his apartment. He got a blowy. They hung out. It was a great time. And so he found her a few more times. And eventually he's like, why doesn't this ever proceed past the blowjob? And then she finally was like, I still got a dick, honey.
Yeah, you don't want. Yeah, I still got a dick, baby.
And he's like,
wait, I totally missed all that.
He's got a buddy who got a blowjob from a person.
Like
and
4 times.
Yeah, kept going back for the blowjob, and he was wondering, well, what the fuck? Why am I always getting a blowjob? Why don't we go to the next thing? I got a dick, baby.
Oh, well, I mean,
you're caught up right there.
Yeah, okay, so
gotcha.
Anyway,
so that's the thing, and I've always said too. I've said this from the beginning. It's like a man can give another man a blowjob probably better than any woman could because they sort of know the business, right? They know.
Agree with that.
Well, you know
the equipment.
You know what you would want out of one, but as far as the skill it takes to do that, I don't know.
Well, okay, so you'd be able to get the basic concept.
You're talking about like straight throat fucking. That's what he's talking about. It's like not every dude can do that. I told you I couldn't get throat fucked. I'll tell you that much. But he's talking about
brushing my teeth. I don't.
I do too. For a long time, I didn't brush my teeth because of it.
Because you gag so bad.
Yeah, and I have to file.
But he learned the trick of replacing the toothbrush with a penis, and it worked just fine.
And then all of a sudden, man,
yeah, it was no big deal.
All right, let's
just put some toothpaste on it, and we get right in there.
Well, it provides its own toothpaste after a little bit.
Oh.
All right, you know what?
Well.
Let's. I think we should skip the rest of the news and go into. No, let me do this last news story.
We got some more news.
There's no hard time limit.
I have a hard time limit. Let's talk about this news story here, man. This is a good news story here. So a teacher's aide jailed for having sex with a student.
A teacher's aide, but not a teacher.
Teacher's aide, teacher, they're the same thing. They have the same authority, and you can't just like have sex with the teacher.
And they're usually generally older.
So a former Virginia high school sign language interpreter and mother was sentenced to prison on Thursday for having sex with a 15-year-old student in a van specially equipped with a bed, officials said. Amanda Nasser, who's 32, worked for Louisa County High School and was sentenced to 90 years in prison.
Wow.
but had all the time except for 7 years suspended. So she only has a 7-year sentence. I know it sounds confusing.
From 90 to
Shock
7?
value. Yeah.
She was convicted of 18 felony charges of indecent liberties with a minor and computer solicitation with a minor. Crazy, right? A woman. You don't hear about this much, and this always reminds me of like, you know, we frown upon this when it comes to like a man, and let's say it's a man, right, with a teenager or something. That's fucking huge bad.
Yeah.
When it happens to a woman, she still gets punished. It's not so bad. It always reminds me of this clip from South Park, which I'm gonna play right here. This clip is fucking great.
Anonymously.
Who? What's the crime?
Well, I was in South Park Elementary, and one of the teachers is having sex with a student.
This is.
Oh my God! You did the right thing telling the police, Brad. Now, who's the teacher? What's his name?
Well, it isn't a guy teacher, it's a woman.
A woman?
Yeah, she's having sex with a boy.
Oh, but she's ugly, right?
Well, no, not really. It's the kindergarten teacher, Miss Stevenson.
The prom?
Yeah.
Some young boys having sex with Miss Stevenson?
Yes.
Nice.
What? No, you don't understand it.
You sure they had sex?
Yeah.
I see before oral sex on.
I think so.
Nice. Nice. So wait, what's the crime? The crime is he isn't doing it with me.
Hey, he's totally alright. She's taking advantage of him.
You're right. We're sorry. This is serious. We need to track this student down and give him his luckiest boy American medal right away.
All right, I'm making a joke of a serious thing here, but honestly, 90 years is what she was up for, and she only got 7. But so it's a very serious crime. I think it's I think it's crazy that this woman, who's also a mother, would fuck. It doesn't say how old this person is, but
high school. So I mean, that could be anywhere from what 14 to 18, more. Or less?
Yeah, absolutely, 14 to 17. You know, 17 and 3/4 and shit. Fucking who knows?
And the thing that I'm having a hard time getting over is the van with a bed in it.
The van, yeah, it was specially equipped with a van with a bed. It's crazy.
That's right. No windows and a free candy sign on the bed.
All right,
that's
so
too obvious.
That's what the fucking ice cream fucking van in my neighborhood is.
Just what it was.
It rolls around with music playing, saying "free candy" and puppies.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't necessarily say free candy, but it's like windowless, and it was playing the music, which is all out of tune and wonky, like a fucking Stephen King thing. And then, yeah, it has like the menu on one side and no windows. It's like, god damn, that's all rusted and weak.
Oh
like,
no, man! That where I grew up, that was our ice cream man. He also
yeah,
he
but
also,
like I don't
he
know.
also
I've
sold
seen
weed.
Them,
but
I've seen them and they have like the signs all over it. It's all like bright and cheerful and stuff. And this is like this weird yellow color and kind of rusty. And I was like, man, that. And even the fucking song is all out of tune and warped sounding.
Well, of course, because then they have to pay royalties if it's the actual Beethoven. You know, that's what it is. So they have to pay, you know, for a slightly different version of it. And when you're a kid, you just learn to associate that sound with ice cream, and it's all good. So, but, you know, like I said, mine growing up, that wasn't, you know, the old rust bucket rolling around with 3 different wheels.
I don't know,
on
man.
It. That was no big deal. You go get you the ice cream, no problem. And if you wanted, you can also get you a dime bag.
All right, so
well, Beloit, Kansas is a different world.
Yeah, well, obviously, right? It's flatter than a pancake, they say, and also flat Earth, man.
Flatter than the Earth. Scientifically proven.
That's right.
Kansas.
So let's go ahead. We're skipping the rest of the news. I just wanted to play that nice clip. Now we've got something. We want to check your white privilege, Nick.
Okay.
We want to check it. Okay.
Wait, I got a beef.
Oh,
yeah,
let's go. I got beef first.
Yeah,
let's get your
I
beef
thought that's
here.
what you were setting up for.
You know what? Well, yeah. So let me set that up. So, our homeboy, the hard hat here, just moved into a new place, and he's finding out what the neighbors are all about, and it seems like he's got some beef. So, why don't you tell us what's going on, man?
I got neighbor beef, man. So check this out. And I'm not sure if it's going to be a dick move on my part by any means. Let me know. But I'll give you the background. So Monday at my place in my area is trash day.
Monday trash day.
So Monday morning, early Monday morning. Usually put the cans out Sunday night. And my roommate and I, yes, I have a roommate. just because cost of living is fucking ridiculous, and I refuse to pay that much. But whatever, different argument. On Mondays, she, when she gets off work, she goes to do like Krav Maga and all that, so she doesn't get back till really late. And on Mondays, hey, guess what? Where am I after work? Right here.
That's right.
Doing this, so I don't get home till a little bit later. So last week I get home. I guess it was 9, 10 o'clock. That's not really important, but it was well after dark. I get home and our trash can, because it was just trash, not trash and recycling, was sitting up by our garage, not in its usual place, which is around the side of the house. It was just sitting right by the garage, and I saw it when I pulled up, and I was like, "Why the fuck did my roommate put that there? Like, that's weird, but whatever." Like, I could have moved it. I made a note. I was like, okay, it's not in its right spot. It'll get moved back eventually, but not going to be tonight.
Yeah.
So, here comes Wednesday, I think, of last week. I finally move it back to where it's, going to, just because I was like, I got a couple 30 seconds or so. I can, on my way in the door. I don't have anything that pressing. And then later that night, getting to talking with the roommate, I was like, hey, why'd you put the trash can right there? That was kind of throwing me off there. And she's like, I didn't put that there. I thought you put that there. And
so you're
at
both
that
just
point, yeah, well, and I had a background story floating around in my mind, but I didn't want to be that person just jump to conclusions. But at that point, when I realized she didn't move it there, I didn't. I was like, this fucking bitch ass neighbor that lives next to me. Because let me give you a little background on her. I've never personally met her, but I've seen her. She's an older woman who is either retired or Social Security, whatever, but she's home all the time. So she gets bored, I'm sure, and just looks for things to complain about or find herself use for. Just being a busybody is how I would like to just phrase it. Just whatever. So the only logical conclusion in my mind is that she, at some point Monday, while both my roommate and I were at work, moved it back up, but obviously didn't put it back where we normally keep it, just put it right back by the garage. And I'm sure in her mind she's like, oh, I'm gonna move this up here just because it's the nice neighborly thing to do and it keeps my property value up. That's probably the biggest argument, because she just strikes me as that type of woman. And also just from stories...
Well, that's kind of judging her.
Well, from background information from my roommate, she also will not hesitate to complain if she thinks your grass is getting a little too long. So there is background there. And then also several months ago when there was a big storm and also knocked down part of the fence of my neighbor, or of my roommate's home, because it's her home, she was constantly on her and threatening her with the HOA that she's going to have a report if she doesn't, expedite the fixing of this fence, citing literally her property value. So, it's not like she was expecting the, estimator, that week or something. But she's just one of those people. Whatever, fine, whatever makes you feel important. But, so now, just through deductive reasoning, I've come to find out that it had to have been her, thinking she's doing a good thing, trying to keep her stuff up.
Okay,
But
so
you know
that was my next thing.
Yeah.
Like, why do you think that's such a bad thing that she moved it up?
Yeah, bottom line, don't touch my fucking trash cans. Like,
Really?
that's a dick move, right?
No.
Like, when we get home, we will move them in. Like, we just have jobs and we have things that we do after work, but it's not like we've never left them out till Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Like,
we don't
exactly
sit there spying on the neighborhood the whole day looking for something to bitch
and
about.
that's what I'm getting at, because she has this history of this. Like, just mind your own goddamn business. Like, I don't want my trash can sitting out there Tuesday when, like, I'm going to pull it up, like, when I get in.
I feel your pain. I feel your pain, man, but...
So, yeah.
You need to pick the battles. Like, she didn't do a bad thing, and what's the big deal that
she touched a man's trash can?
Bro.
we want to talk about fragile masculinity
is that
here.
is that a euphemism?
Possibly.
You never touch a man's trash can.
Would you feel worse if it was full of stuff or empty, which it was empty?
What do you mean? If she took it out to the curb on Sunday nights? No, if she wants to do that, she's more than fucking welcome.
Okay, so you're okay with her taking it out,
Yeah.
which you should. Okay, this is what you should do. You go, hey, since you're so
busybody,
hey, since you're so into taking my trash cans up and putting them back, do me a favor and just take them down too.
Yeah.
Just don't take. This is your new job.
Yeah. You want something to do? I will capitalize on this. No, see, I was thinking my alternative is because today's a holiday, so I really doubt that the trash is running, so it's going to slide to the next day.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to put it out tonight when I go back, and I've already in agreements with my roommate. Don't touch the trash can. Let me conduct this experiment, this social experiment. And if it's back up there, like when I get home or later in the night, go for it.
Is there are you part of an HOA of some sorts?
There is a very loose HOA in this area. From my roommate, it's very, very lax.
I had this story that I wanted to talk about.
I saw that. We should totally still do that.
How there was this HOA policy where you had to keep your garage open between 8 and this time, right? And people did not want that.
Yeah.
But it was part of the HOA rules. Now they've since suspended it, but that was their rule. Can you believe that?
Do they have a reasoning for that?
I would have gotten into the story. We're not going to get into the story because we're going to skip that today. But man, yeah, you gotta. Oh, dude, I also had stripper robots in the fucking news.
I'd say we should do it, man.
I had a fucking ramping car. I even shared the video on Twitter. To go along with this fucking story ahead.
I say we do it. Do it.
Well, all right, go ahead.
All right, you want me to finish my beef? All right, so anyway,
Your beef.
So I'm gonna conduct my experiment, and if it's back up there, like then I will know without a doubt it was her. So I'm giving her reasonable doubt. Maybe it was a one-off, and that's fine.
Man,
but don't let it happen
think
again.
You should be upset about her bringing your garbage up. You should be upset with her calling the cops on you for some bullshit reason. But like,
well, I haven't had that yet.
Yeah, but
she's just bringing.
But I do use a lot of power tools on the weekends, and I'm just waiting for that.
She just doesn't want the trash can sitting down on the street.
Yes, and I will bring them in. I will bring my trash cans in when I come back in from my busy day of work, because Mondays are very busy for me. I'm usually out the door by 7. I don't get back till 9 or 10.
What is the big deal that she helps put your garbage can up?
That's my trash cans. Don't touch my trash cans.
There's some sort of rule that you have to like pull them up before a certain time?
I would be less upset if she put them back where we normally keep them, because then I wouldn't have known. I would have just assumed my roommate did it. But no, just bottom line, I feel a part of me feels a little bit violated.
And do you know if there's any sort of street sweeping that happens that same day?
Not that I know of.
Well, maybe there's a street sweeping, and she wants to make sure that you're part of the. Like, dude, you're missing out on all sorts of variables.
It's pretty obvious if street sweepers were present coming through, and there's no sign of street sweeping.
You're taking the word of your roommate, who you barely know as well. Let's be honest, right?
I mean, in the span of times, you're correct,
and you're believing her word, which you don't know if she's a liar or not. You just met her, and essentially in so many ways, and you're the roommate. You know, she could be someone who this woman thinks that's fucky, but
she's also a Mormon.
There's nothing wrong with Mormons. There ain't nothing wrong with them.
I'm just throwing more facts out there.
Except for what they believe in, they're idiots, but they're good people.
And
nonetheless.
She's apparently very loose in throwing that. Like I've yet to actually formally meet her, but word of mouth that's usually hey, I'm so and so, blah blah blah. I'm also a Mormon. And I'm also going to say I'm so and so. I'm Brandon Hardhat.
Being proud
I'm
of
also
who you
a
are.
part-time adult film actor. Just shock value.
Holy shit! You're the man with the mole.
I mean, I might be.
He's the mole, dude. He's got the mole in the base of his cock, dude. He's fucking hung like a horse.
I've actually got 2 moles.
Okay, so my bottom line here
keeps him in a cage in his room.
Is that she's never. Look about your experiences with her right now. Mm-hmm. The only thing that's going on, besides the information you received, the information, quote unquote, that you received, she's taking your trash can up, at least to a point where you don't have to fucking pull it all the way up the driveway. As a good neighbor, gesturally kind of thing,
she's
maybe.
Helping out, man.
Perhaps you should give her a chance and say, give her talk to her for a moment and see what she's all about for realsies, because you can't take someone's word for it. We know that.
True.
But you gotta
I don't have first-hand experience.
You gotta do some research on your neighbors. On yourself. You gotta do it yourself, and that way you can officially know.
Do some research.
That's right. On the flat neighbors. I think that's what you should do, brother. You're looking for advice. I think that's what you should. Okay. Don't listen to your neighbors or your roommates. Listen to yourself.
Okay.
Talk to her. Reach out as a neighbor. I used to always do that. When I lived with other people and that we lived in a house, I reached out to the neighbors because I know that I'm going to have a party and we're going to be very disruptive sometimes. And there was a lady that lived behind us that would always call the cops on us. And there was nothing she could do about it. She can just call the cops. We're not breaking the law,
right?
Except for all the people doing drugs inside.
Well, you know,
but
you're not
we're not breaking the law, right? They're not. They're not.
And the noise violation.
Yeah, it's the noise that they're worried about. So we turned the thing down, and we always told the other neighbors, "Hey, if we're ever too loud,
give us a call.
Tell
Here's
us."
our number. Yeah.
And you can do the same thing with this neighbor. Say, "Hey, I just moved in. My name is Brandon. Good to meet you. If I just
adult film star.
I'm an adult film star, and if there's ever too loud of noises, if you hear this lady screaming just too loud, do me a favor, give it a couple extra minutes. It'll go away. It's not like I'm going to keep this kind of thing going on. Better yet,
it's not like I'm dextering her or anything.
Let me know what's going on. Just keep me in the loop. Here's my. Give her your number. That's a good way of going.
I don't know. That's moving a little too fast for me. The exchange of numbers. Maybe she's got a kick or like a Snapchat or something.
Do you have a lease?
It's very loose. It's
Okay.
just 30 days notice. So it's very open ended.
Anyways, let's move on here. What do you guys think?
So anyway, and I haven't finished with my beef.
ahead, bud.
You may convince me. Yeah, just give her a chance because I was thinking my alternative was since tonight there's no trash, it's gonna slide to tomorrow. I was thinking I might just take a late night stroll tonight, and if I happen across a trash can and I feel that it would be better served in another location than its present place.
No, man.
No?
Now, then you're stirring the pot.
Yeah, I guess so. But
I know you want
vengeance feels so good.
I know you want. I'm
Right.
the same way, dude. I want vengeance, but
so good.
My mom
you got to remember that's someone you're going to be living with or around, and you need to have that harmony, not just for you. And you need that harmony. She needs that harmony. You need that harmony.
Don't shit where you sleep.
Sure. Nick, what do you
do like
about?
that?
I was saying, my mom just moved to a new town. Retired. Now she part-time drives like the public service bus around that town, right?
Like the carts equivalent?
No,
kind of
like
thing?
someone has to go to their doctor's appointment.
Yeah.
Or like whatever. So, but she has these neighbors on the north side of her house. And her grandkids, my nephews, were out playing in the yard, and their ball bounced over into the neighbor's yard. So one of them ran over to get it, and the lady came out fucking screaming about keep your shit off my lawn, keep blah blah blah, throwing a fit about
You
essentially.
damn kids!
I was like, okay, sorry, Jesus, but it keeps happening. They're fucking kids playing. They're just chasing to get a ball. They're coming right back. They're not doing anything in your goddamn lawn. Shut up. So Mom had the surveyors come out and found out that their backyard fence actually hangs a couple of feet over the property line.
Like it's leaning, or is it?
No,
just built?
it's built.
Okay.
Over into my mom's property.
Oh.
So she's like, "Oh, this is interesting," and went and got a lawyer and had on the nice fancy letterhead had the lawyers send them a very nice fucking letter about since you have been very concerned about property lines and individual yards, then Miss Janice Schultz is politely asking you to remove your fence from her property. And if you have any questions, please do not bother her. Contact us here at such and such law firm. And so there you go. If it comes to a point, fucking bring lawyers in. That's like the sweet vengeance.
That's fucking lawyered right there.
I know, right? But in a good way, because fuck that neighbor. Sorry that this 5-year-old had to go get a ball out of your yard and ran right back. Calm the fuck down.
But in the end, though, they corrected something that somebody fucked up somewhere in marking in building the fence. I guess obviously the guys building it didn't, or they had bad information, something. But yeah, at least in the end, it corrected a wrong. So now she's got a little bit more yard,
or at least some loophole, or some pole.
So what are you gonna do?
You know what? I think you may have convinced me to just kind of let it ride, and just kind of forget about it.
Give her your number.
And give it. See, I'm gonna put a firm hold on that. I'll give her my email.
Have you ever seen Yes Man?
There you go. Give her an email.
Have you ever seen Yes Man, where he has to go do the favors for his older neighbor?
No. Maybe I need to see
that's
that.
what you got to do.
Okay, is that a documentary? I'll write that down.
No.
This is a documentary. Yes, man.
Well, yeah. You don't know.
In a way, maybe it's a documentary.
It depends on how you look at it.
All right, so that's the news, you guys. Let's get the news out of here. That's the news. All right, so we're gonna do something here. We're gonna take a test.
All right,
Because I need to find out how white privileged you are, Nick Rader.
Why me? Why me specifically?
We're actually all gonna take the test, so we're gonna find out how
It's like,
all
why
of us
just
are
me,
gonna
man?
do.
What the fuck could that?
Because I wanted to point at you. So this is a list based on Peggy. This is a list based on Peggy McIntosh's article on white privilege. So you might be asking yourself, who is Peggy McIntosh? Peggy McIntosh.
She's the heir to the computer throne.
No, not quite. She is an American feminist, an anti-racism activist, scholar, speaker, and senior research associate at the
Oh God, she sounds like she's
Wellesley
a joy at
Centers
parties.
for Women. She's the founder of the national SEED, the SEED Project on Inclusive Curriculum, seeking educational equality and diversity. That's what that is.
Take a breath there.
Yeah, Jesus.
She and
I
Emily
fell asleep during that.
She and Emily Style co-directed SEED for its first 25 years. She has written on curricular revision, feelings of fraudulence, and professional development of teachers. Okay, so she's the forefront of why people understand white privilege. And so this is the list on a daily basis as a white person. You yes or no.
Okay.
Okay, so the first one, here we go. Number one, I can, if I wish, this is weird. On a daily basis as a white person, I can, if I wish, arrange to be in the company of people of my race most of the time. Yes or no? That you can, if you wish, arrange the company of people of my race most of the time, or in the company of my people.
That is a definite no for me.
No for Brandon.
You can't arrange to be in the company of people of your race.
Native American.
So I got you on that one. All right, what about you?
I mean,
I definitely can be that.
Yeah, I guess yes. The way the question is worded.
Yeah, isn't this funny how it's worded, right?
Like I don't have to be in the present, but
you can.
If
I mean, yeah, if I sort, but I personally like if I were to scroll through my phone, but like, well, there's my mom. If I want to drive 4 hours to, a half brother,
reservation.
Yeah, but no.
All right, number two, we got a few of these to go through. Okay, number two, on a daily basis as a white person, if I should need to move, I can pretty sure renting or purchasing housing in an area which I can afford and which I would want to live. If I should need to move, I can be pretty sure renting or purchasing housing in an area which I can afford in and which I want to live.
It seems that she's not very good at things because her questions are worded terribly.
Mm-hmm. Not to mention there's an equality like law that equal housing lender, you know, that you will. So I can easily say if I need to move, I can be pretty sure renting a house in an area which I can afford. So if I want to move, I'm pretty sure I can rent a place that I can afford. So the answer is yes. I can rent a place that I can afford.
Yeah.
I think the answer is yes for everybody. There's no race on that one unless you think.
Well, okay, if you're just looking at race.
So what she's insinuating is that there are lots of there was this funny ad on the radio where this guy would call up an ad for a place, and he'd call up as different races, right? He'd be like, hey, like a cowboy, hey, or like a hick, or like a black dude, hey, motherfucker, shit like that. And she'd be like, oh, the place is not available, or like a Chinese person who couldn't talk English correctly, right? And then it was like this is Maxwell Stewarton or some shit, like some sort of English name, and I'm looking for a place. She's like, oh yes, it's available, and that's like that's what this question is kind of insinuating that.
Okay.
But there's people that will, answer the phone, and you have you have an accent to your voice, and they might say, oh, that ad is probably filled. That's what this is. So I feel that might not happen to me because of my proper English speaking. Okay. Number three. I can be pretty sure that my neighbors in such a location will be neutral or pleasant to me. So Brandon
already know
just got
mine
finished
there.
talking about that, but we're not
Yeah.
sure if that's not pleasant or not. So you can say
She was just helping you educate.
Yeah, it sounds to me that she's being pleasant.
It's
to you.
very subjective, though.
Well, that's what this is about, to see if you're white privileged
yes,
or not.
I'm probably the outcast, the weird one in that. So yes, it's a nice thing. I'm overreacting, but I don't know, man.
But neutral or pleasant? Like, okay, so I used to have neighbors that would like blast their fucking speakers.
Okay.
And now I don't have those neighbors anymore.
Yeah.
You know,
I definitely don't have neighbors like that.
Would
If
you
anything,
consider that
I'm
neutral
that
or
person.
pleasant? You know,
that's neutral.
It's okay. So you expect them in a such a way to be neutral and pleasant. That leaves a lot to. So I have to say yes again because that's my white privilege. What about you, Nick? You expect your to be neutral?
Yes. I guess.
Yeah, he said would say yes, and so would you, Brandon.
Yeah,
you would.
sure.
I mean,
He's
most
answering
of the-
for you at this
Yeah,
point.
I got
it's
it.
only
That's
question
fine.
3. He's already
doing me a favor.
Well, because your fucking neighbor put up your trash can. I think that's awesome. I can go shopping. Number 4. I can go shopping alone most of the time. Pretty well assured that I will not be followed or harassed. This one, I think, really goes to more of women, right?
I would imagine
being
so,
followed
but
or harassed.
Even still, I could see it crossing over because I get she's probably trying to pinpoint it like a bad area of town or something where like anybody would be subjected to being, jacked or something.
I don't know. You've got places like, someone could be walking down Hollywood Boulevard and being like, "What's up, baby?" The cat calling and
Okay.
shit. That could be what's going on. Followed or harassed. That's harassed. I can say...
I don't know. It depends. Like,
I can say yes.
talking
on that
about
one.
white privilege, but if you go into the wrong neighborhood, then you're definitely going to be harassed.
Well, yeah.
that's
I mean,
what I
but that's
agree
why
on.
you know where those places are, and I don't have any business.
But I tell you
in
what,
places
I
like
go
that.
shopping in places that I know that are good areas, and that kind of thing doesn't exist in that.
Yeah.
So.
And that has nothing to do with Ray. That's just I don't know. I feel like she's being very trolling.
Nick, yes.
Yeah,
You can
I
go
guess.
shopping, being assured you're not going to be goggled, and I know that Googled. All right, number 5. I can turn on the television or open the front page of the paper and see people of my race widely represented. Widely represented, not wildly. Widely. Brandon, I know you said no.
Race has gone wild.
You'll say no for that one.
Yeah.
My race of people is definitely, or people of my color. It says see people of my race. So my race is Filipino. I don't see very many people, so I can say no. Nick, what about you?
Well, I mean, I don't know if they're German.
You just
or
don't know, right?
English or not.
Get on that mic
but
there. We're gonna put.
I can't say specifically if they're German or English, but
So that's a no, because you can't be sure.
you don't know. Okay.
Number
I
6.
definitely see people of my
We
race.
gotta get through-
I definitely no. You can put a yes on
There's
that. I definitely
26
would
of
see-
these, so we gotta
definitely
get through
see
these
Caucasian.
quickly.
Oh, man.
Okay.
All right.
So here we go. Number 6. When I am told about our national heritage or about quote unquote civilization, I am shown that people of my color made it what it is. So people of your color, so white people is what they're trying to say, or a black person. So if a black person is reading this saying, when I'm told about national heritage or about our civilization, I am shown that people of my color made it what it is. Yes or no. So if I was a black person, I say no. If you're say a white person, you say yes. Would you say an Asian person can say that? Yes or no? Because their skin color is technically white. You wouldn't say yellow like a racist motherfucker. So, I guess I have to. By the way that this question is questioned and stated, I have to say yes, and all of us would have to say yes, right? You can say you're brown, or I can say I'm brown. I'm not brown. Number 7. Here we go. I can be sure that my children will be given curricular materials that testify to the existence of their race. Well,
I wouldn't want
that's a hard no for me.
I wouldn't want my children. Like, I don't want material testifying to the race. Like, give them actual material.
well, isn't this kind of mean like you're giving them like materials of like
On
family
that
trees or
specific
something?
race.
Like that's like this is who you come from.
Uh-huh.
Like that's fine, right? Don't you think that's fine if you're
What's the point of that? Like,
We'll be given curricular materials that testify to the existence of the race, just to let them. What does that even mean? Curricular materials that testify the existence of the race. What does that
that's
mean?
teaching white power. is what that is. Like,
is that what that's supposed to be?
That's what
meaning?
it sounds like. Yeah, because like they're teaching. All right, this is the history of our race. This is why we are who we are. And like in my mind, like, why do we in 2018 now? Why do we get so hung up on what area of the world your ancestors came from? Like that you know, I have a Native American heritage, but like I appreciate, you know, everything in the past, but like it doesn't define me who I am today, and it doesn't affect me today. Like,
and it's a personal journey if you want to find that out.
It is, but what's the point? It has
exactly.
no.
See, when you get all these people that are like, I'm such and such, so that means this.
So what does that
fucking
get
shit?
you
That
in your
doesn't mean a
life?
goddamn thing.
When you say like,
we're
oh,
all
I'm,
people, we're all human beings
Right.
first and foremost, but
I am
people
like
seem to put race ahead of
fucking
that.
70% German. I hate sauerkraut.
And you
It's
love the
fucking
Jews.
You're
disgusting.
responsible for the Holocaust.
I hate heavy and warm beer. I have absolutely no goddamn desire to invade Poland. I don't give a goddamn shit about it. So the fact that I'm mostly German history doesn't apply to fuck me at all.
Exactly.
So
And-
yeah.
Now, does that mean I'm like, oh, fuck no German, or I'm going to disclaim that I am of German descent? No. But everything that is German doesn't apply. I'm definitely not organized and on top of shit. Like everybody says, Germans are all Einstein, Einstein, Einstein. That is not me. Absolutely not. You know, like, it doesn't fucking matter.
So
right.
we don't
It
have.
seemed like these
we-
are
we
leading
don't-
questions. These
we-
are leading
We don't
questions.
have to finish this quiz, but if
Like
you want to look
be,
this
they
up,
should be like,
Yeah,
what is your
I'll
gut
post that.
feeling when you get pulled over by the police? These are the type of questions she needs to ask.
now let me just make
These
this.
are leading bullshit questions.
Let's make this clear. This is available on an MIT website.
This is because read that last one again. That one we just did about a curriculum.
I can be sure that my children will be given curricular materials that testify to the existence of their race.
See, that is like you were saying. Yes, I can go somewhere and be assured that my kids are going to be taught about my race. Like,
Isn't
yes,
that just
you'd-
a weird question? Like,
it
you
really
should
is,
want to
'cause
learn about that kind of
you
stuff.
should want, and you should want to make sure your kids, no matter what race they are, get to learn about that. And I guess what she's saying is you can't always, like, if you're in certain areas and your kid is of a different ethnicity, they cannot be assured that they're going to learn about that in school.
Number 9. You're going to love
I
this
guess.
one.
So I see that, but God, it's just weird. It's worded so fucking weird.
Yeah, they're all weird. You're
It's-
gonna like this one. Here's number
It's
9.
so leading.
I can go into a music shop and count on finding the music of my race represented. Into a supermarket and find the staple foods which fit my my cultural traditions. Into a hairdresser's shop and find someone who can cut my hair. What the fuck is this? I'm gonna read this again. I can go into a music shop
I get this one.
and count on finding the music of my race represented. I can go into a supermarket and find the staple foods which fit my cultural traditions, and I can go into a hairdresser shop and find someone who can cut my hair. That's what they're saying.
So these are all these questions are saying if you're white, you can get that absolutely fucking anywhere. If you're not, you can't. Can you go into any music store and find Native American recordings?
As far in my knowledge, in this town,
Now,
no.
it doesn't
but
say-
that's my knowledge.
Now you're
Right.
you're
but you can't
No, that's
fault
what
the-
she's asking. Because if you say
Hold on.
yes,
No,
then
no,
you're
no, no.
white.
You're right.
And that's the point of
Yeah,
white privilege.
I'm not arguing you. I'm not arguing, but it says I can go into a music shop, not any music shop.
Just
You know?
a random one.
So we put in this
She's
any
meaning
music
general.
shop. Like we can go to one music shop. Like that's what you do. It's a special thing. That's how things used to be back in the day. There was one shop that did that one thing. Then you'd go to a different shop for that. You know, it also says go to a supermarket to find the staple foods that fit your cultural traditions. When I was growing up, my mom used to go to the Filipino store. We used to call it
Okay,
that,
but that's
the
not a
Filipino store.
supermarket.
Well,
That
what,
was
what is a
no.
supermarket? There was
Supermarket is HEB. Supermarket is like a big grocery store.
What is the definition of a supermarket? It has what? More than one kind of market in it? Like it's a big market? Like how does what is the definition? Because I've been to bigger Asian restaurant supermarkets where it had lots of aisles. It had fucking stores on the inside that sold jewelry and shit, you know? Like I've been to these bigger supermarkets. They exist, you know? But what is a supermarket? Something that's just big? Like that can exist anywhere. So
Well, because you can have your average grocer, like your
that
your
would be more
corner
just
store.
a market, but you
Right.
append super to it, and then
Then
then you get the big
size
box
of a
store.
fucking
Yeah,
block.
but
That's,
So it does specifically say supermarket though, right? I mean,
Yeah,
so
or
it
go
is-
into a supermarket and find the staple
So when you
foods.
go into a supermarket, there's always a Hispanic aisle and there's an Asian aisle.
Well, there's the
You're right about that. Yes, there's an
But
Asian
what
and
if
a
you're fucking anything else?
Yeah,
because there's
like,
still a
you
lot
can't,
that's
so you
not
can't
included.
fault that because you can't
That's
fault the
bullshit,
business for
because-
not carrying something that might be in such a small demand.
Yeah, that's exactly what that is. It's such a small demand.
Now, if
and
you
there's
go
a specialty shop
the
out there.
point of these questions is when you're white, you don't have to think about that. And that's the point of these. That's why it's saying, here's your white privilege.
Because how is that privilege, dude? It's
because I, as a white guy, if I go to a supermarket, I know that I can find the food that I want.
Because you grew up on the
because that's the
quote-unquote
food
white
you grew up on.
Okay, but if you're a smaller minority, you can't guarantee that if you go into a store that you're going to find the shit that you grew up on. And that's the point. That's what she's saying is.
Okay, you're right about that.
That's
but
the
is
point
that,
of white
does that-
supremacy, or not white supremacy. Jesus God, white privilege. My bad. White privilege. But that's exactly what she's getting at. That's what all these questions are alluding to. This is so easy for me to do all of this. It's assuming if you're white, if this is easy for you, then you're white. And that's, I bet when you get to the end of this, all the people that have a high amount of yeses are white. And that's what it's pointing out, is everybody that can say yes to these is fucking white. And when you get to the end, you're like, holy shit, that's exactly what white privilege is. That is specifically, it's not like I'm better or I
Why? How is that a? How
I'm
is that?
better than anybody. It's just things are so much easier to me in ways that I don't even acknowledge.
But that's not a
simply because I'm white.
How is that? I can sort of see that you say that's a privilege, but it's not a privilege. That's just how it is here. And because people aren't from here, aren't used to it, we call that a privilege to someone that is already used to that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's not a privilege if you don't have a frame of reference.
Yeah, it's the frame of reference that you're looking at. Like, that's just what it is. Why is that even I guess that's why people say it's privilege, because, like, white rich people are like, well, I don't even know what you're talking about.
You don't know any
it's their
better.
privilege. But that's why they're throwing this fucking word around, like, privilege. Oh, you're privileged. Like, that's a bad thing. Like, excuse me.
When I get pulled over, I'm not scared. If I go to the grocery store, I can find whatever I want to eat. Like, there is a lot.
There's no reason to be scared if you're not doing anything fucking wrong.
Bullshit. And that is absolutely bullshit. But as a white male,
straight male, throw that in there too.
White straight male.
Allegedly.
I wasn't gonna say it.
There is a huge amount of things that don't even occur to me that people have to fucking deal with every day.
Right.
And none of it even occurs to me as something that anybody would have to worry about. Now, does that make it inconsequential? No. It just means that I am privileged enough to not have to fucking worry about it. They have to worry about it.
But we're in America, like that's what it is for people like us. That's what it is, right? That's
what white privilege means.
There are so many other people that get that same privilege. Like everyone gets that privilege.
I got pulled over because I had a light out, and the guy's like, cops like, you have a light out. Oh, I had no idea. Thank you, officer. He's like, okay, so go get that fixed.
And you think
if I was a minority, do you think it would have gone that
I
smoothly?
get ticketed every time that's happened. I get a ticket, and then I have to go to court and show, hey, it's fixed. Pay the $10 court. I get ticketed every time.
I'm as white as you are, dude. I've been pulled over. There's only been one time where I did not get a ticket. I've been pulled over so many times, and I get a ticket every single time. Because why? Because there's something that's going wrong with the car that I'm in. You know, I have a light out. There was one time where I didn't have my lights on. I just got pulled out of a gas station. I didn't have my lights on, and the cop pulled me over because I didn't have my lights on. I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry." He had checked me out, saw that I was just coming back from work, and I just stopped for gas.
He asked you where you were coming from?
Yeah,
that is illegal.
That doesn't matter.
No, that is illegal.
It doesn't matter.
That is illegal.
Okay, it's illegal.
For the sake of the story,
it doesn't matter. He can ask me whatever I want, and
you don't have to answer anything that he has to say.
But
you chose to.
But I chose to, right? And that's what dude. You just have to realize that I'm losing my train of thought here, but essentially,
you got to pick your battles, is what I think you're getting at.
Yeah, dude. what the fuck is the big fucking deal?
These questions are pointing out that as a white person, there is so much you don't think about.
Right. But
There's
that's
so
not
much that
saying-
doesn't occur to you
So
because
what
that's
does
just
it
the way
change?
it is.
So what does it change? What do you want me to do to change that shit?
It's not up to you.
You just
She's
want me
just
to-
trying to bring about awareness because nothing changes
you're
until
right.
you have awareness
You're right.
of it.
This test is to show how white privilege.
That's all it is. Because
It's to make
until
people
everybody's
think,
a
be like,
fucking
oh,
aware, then
wait.
nothing's going to
Yeah.
happen. She's
Now,
not. This test
do I
isn't-
have white privilege because of my skin color?
This
is
isn't
that what
saying
it is?
that you specifically are doing anything wrong.
No,
Louis.
you're right.
This is just trying
I'm
to make
with
you
you.
aware.
I'm with you on this. So
stop taking it personally.
I'm
You're
not
not
taking
being
it,
attacked here.
I'm not taking it as an attack. But so I am. Am I white in all senses or what? I mean, someone sees my name. It's Carlos. That's definitely not something that someone you think is white right off the fucking bat, right?
No.
So, but I've been treated. I can say yes to a lot of these white privilege things. Now that might attribute to the skin color I have. You know, if someone didn't know my name. But is that it though? Like I can tell you that I felt that someone's seen my name Carlos and I've maybe been shunned off for things because they don't want Mexicans or something. I always get that from friends and I know they're joking, but that's like jokes come from truth. You know, they go, "You're fucking
True.
Mexican, right?"
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm not. All right? Here, I mean, we educate you and let you know I'm Filipino. So, well, people just get too offended too quick.
Yeah.
You know? White privilege.
That doesn't mean. I think the
What
word
is that?
privilege
Okay,
implies
but because
that.
you don't believe in it doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
You're
Because
right.
it absolutely does.
Well, hang on, because we say white privilege. I think the mentality in a lot of people is that implies that person
Is there black
knows
privilege?
no struggle. Like every struggle,
Right.
like you said, being raised as a white straight male, like. Yeah, you have white privilege according to the survey, but that doesn't mean your life didn't have its own set of unique
No, it
struggles
absolutely
that
does.
I or even Carlos could be oblivious to because we don't
hold on a
like.
second, hold on a second.
White privilege
Is there-
doesn't
but
mean like
it's-
because I'm white, I just get to walk right through everything's easy peasy. But it is a fuckload easier.
Yeah, I will agree with that, but that doesn't. White privilege does not mean it's not without struggle.
Dude,
No,
I'm
it's
still
not,
working my
but-
ass off, dude. Like,
I
dude,
know, and
I don't
I've
spend all
never
my money
not-
on crack. I
I've
don't
never
spend all
not
my.
had 2 jobs and tried to do the music thing on the side. Like I've always fucking worked all the goddamn time. So it's not that. It's just I wish I would have known we were talking about this. There's a video of a coach had his whole team lined up. He's like, okay, if you can say this, take a step forward. If you can say this, take a step forward.
Oh, I've
If
seen
you can
that
say
one.
this,
Yeah,
take
yeah,
a step
yeah.
forward. If you can say this, take a step forward. And blah, 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 blah. And he got through his question. It's like, okay, now we're going to run this race. First one to the end wins.
Yeah.
And, of course, everybody that's still back at the starting line are all the black students
Yeah.
or the underprivileged students. Like, that's all it is. Like, it doesn't
but that's
mean,
an inaccurate
it doesn't mean- It
representation.
doesn't mean you don't still have to run, but you got a fuckload of a head start.
Right.
It also
but
shows
that's-
to all the privileged children who the underprivileged ones are, so they can make fun of them later.
But you can
Kinda
still
segregates
have.
them.
You can still have.
You're a fucking prick.
It sounds like you're segregating people here.
No, it's
you're
pointing out.
You're pointing out who's fucking poor or not. When you shouldn't be doing that. You should let people live the way they are and not have to be like, oh, that person's
It
fucking.
was one fucking example to point out what white privilege is. White privilege doesn't mean I'm rich. I don't have to worry about it. I'm a white male. Everything's fucking easy peasy for me. That's not what white privilege is.
If I moved to Jamaica and I tried to start a fucking.
Yeah, they
reggae
don't have a
career,
white privilege problem there.
But they would have a black privilege problem there because I'm not fucking black. If I didn't have the
You're
soul
right.
in me.
If you go to Jamaica,
you think there's black privilege?
You do not leave the fucking resorts.
Do you think there's black privilege in America?
No.
There is privilege. For every single race, there's a privilege for it. You're focusing on the white guy. You're so white.
So you're
dude.
saying
You're
in
so
some
self-loathing.
aspect in every race there's some sort of.
Yeah, think about it, dude.
I can agree. Yeah, now to what degree in each race that's going to vary. I think. Dude, can we agree to that?
White, like.
But then again, brings me back to my argument. Why does it matter?
Yeah, it
what
doesn't
your
matter.
race, what your nationality
It
is, where
shouldn't.
you're. No, it shouldn't.
It shouldn't, but it does.
and pointing
the
it out-
thing is, it should not, but it absolutely does.
Yeah.
Societally, big picture,
Mm-hmm.
it does. And so when you say this is my viewpoint, and I don't think it matters because fucking whatever. Okay, great. I'm glad you feel that way, but you have to look at the big picture because it does. And if you sit here and say it doesn't, you're fucking ignorant and you're unaware. Like, I don't think it should. I think it's stupid.
Yeah, it's very stupid.
But I'm also not stupid enough to think that it doesn't to everybody else.
Yeah, because to a lot of people, it means a
societally,
lot.
it absolutely does, and that's the fucking point. It's not about what you specifically think or what you've specifically dealt with in your life. It's
group
what
as a whole.
It just sounds
as a
like you
whole-
think that there's some sort of big old fucking giant conspiracy that every black person is like being brought down by
No,
some sort of white
I'm not-
person somewhere.
No.
Like that's what it sounds like. You sound like there's a conspiracy when the people that I know, I go to HEB every fucking time I go. I look around,
How
I
the
see
fuck did
people.
you get
Yeah,
That's
that
what
was
I
a
was
little.
saying.
That's like a hop, skip, and a jump.
I'm just talking about.
Yeah, that-
I'm just talking
not-
about.
I did not say anything near that.
I'm just talking about. I mean, I'm talking about races and them just being interlocked and everything. Like, I don't look at things that way. Like, I don't feel I've gotten any sort of privilege because of the skin of my.
Does is what I'm saying. Big picture. Everybody.
We are society. Why then? Why is it that everybody
okay,
says
but
that?
your specific views aren't all of society.
Okay, sure, you're right about that.
What I'm saying
More people
is,
should think like me
I'm
then.
saying is, if a group of 5 people walked into a building,
okay,
all 5 of them different races,
dressed like what?
they could all be dressed in a fucking
Are
suit.
they all the same
whatever.
thing? They're all dressed the
They
same
all be
way.
dressed the same
Okay.
way. The white guy would be the least worried about.
No, because if they're all dressed in a suit
Absolutely.
and they're all walking together, no.
No, the white guy would be the less worried about.
What are they walking into? A job interview?
It doesn't
or
matter.
Is there
I'm
an
just saying,
Asian?
you're talking-
Is there an Asian
It
there?
doesn't fucking matter. The point is.
Is there an Asian involved in this?
The
in this
point
scenario?
is.
Because I'm worried more about the Asian than anything.
Societally,
the guy's gonna
big
beat my ass,
picture,
and he's got white skin.
That's the way it is, and I don't agree with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't help the fact that I am that, but that does exist. That is absolutely a real thing.
No.
And if you say it doesn't, you're in your own tiny little bubble. Look at the big picture. It's real. It exists. There's no way you can
There's
deny
somebody out there that's keeping people of different races down because of their race.
it. No, nobody's
that's what
keeping it.
sounds like.
No, I'm not. Nobody's
That's-
keeping anybody down. It's just.
I think
that people choose white people over something else.
There's
over,
less
over black
suspicion
people or
cast
something.
upon.
Like, give me an example
white
of what you mean then. Like
that's what all these questions were asking. You've said
You mean like-
you've only ever gotten off of a ticket once.
Yeah.
Maybe it is your name. I, as a white guy named Nick, have gotten off of speeding tickets, my lights being out, all sorts of shit. I mean, I have gotten tickets before.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying I got off every time, but I've been pulled over for speeding going 20 miles over the limit.
Yeah,
And
see,
got
I
off
haven't
with a
been as
warning.
fortunate. I've never gotten a warning.
Here's something here. I can number 12. I can swear or dress in secondhand clothes or not answer letters without having people attribute to these choices to bad morals, the poverty, or the illiteracy of my race.
See, because
Second
you see how
hand
ridiculous
clothes,
this sounds, though, man?
letters, that's like 3 different questions.
right, yeah, she's lumping things,
Yeah.
for sure. But thing is,
You're
what
making it
she's
sound like big, like and crazy. Like there's maybe there is a little bit of it, but it's not like
say
it's a
you're-
fucking epidemic.
Say you're a court clerk.
Okay, court clerk.
And you're sending letters out, and you've got 2 people that have missed payments.
Mm-hmm.
One is named Nick, one is named Deshaun.
Okay.
Okay.
I guarantee you, Nick is getting more leniency than Deshaun is, based purely on the name.
Leniency on what? Getting a ticket off
I
or
can be like,
something?
oh my God, I was late on my payment. I'm sorry.
They're gonna put Nick's paperwork over here for.
Deshaun's getting
Okay.
turned into a goddamn collection
that sounds
agency.
so- that sounds so fucking racist to me.
It
You're trying to
does,
say
and
that
I-
somebody will hear the name Deshaun and go.
That's how
and
it
hear the name
goes.
Nick.
Well, no,
Okay,
see,
maybe
he's got
not-
a point.
not
That
to
is
me.
absolutely how it
He's
goes.
got a point because
to me.
there have been several studies where
But
they
you
send
aren't
in.
all of society, Lo. Stop saying because you don't feel that way. That's not the way that it actually is.
Well,
People
they've
should
done
think like me then.
They've done those studies where they'll send in
No,
like
because not
identical resumes to job employers, and the only difference will be the name. So it's like, yes, there is something psychologically. Now, I feel that there's more like there's
That
more
was a really
variables
stripped down
in there.
bullshit example, yes.
Yeah, I feel like there's more variables that go into that decision, like as far as like how it was received, or
yeah, I mean, that
even
was-
subtle things. Because like I want to have a little more faith in human. Like I don't have a lot, but I want to have a little more that we don't resort down to just like, no, I'm not even going to consider the person because of the name. But I mean, that could also just be me. But it's a very sad thing.
okay, so
but
what is,
it does happen.
what does me
It does happen.
having white privilege mean, anyways? So give me that answer. What does it mean, anyways, that I have white privilege? Does that mean that I should check myself and go back, take a step back when trying to make opinions about other races because of the color of my skin, based completely on the color of my skin, because my race completely dictates the color of my color of my skin?
That kind of sounds like racism.
I mean, should I like? I don't know. You guys decide. I think we need. This is a good a moot point here. I mean, we can just kind of stop it here, and get on with the outro. But really, white privilege, maybe it exists. Let's say it exists.
Maybe it definitely does.
Let's say it does.
Absolutely.
At least not in my mind, and that's fine. Because that's where things really exist.
You're in denial.
That's fine. You're
I'm not in denial, dude. I don't think that people think that black people are inferior to white people at all.
Well, you're looking at it with an extreme point of view.
Right.
You're looking at it that all white people are keeping black people down. It's not.
That's the way it sounds when you say there's this privilege happening for white people.
That's the wordplay, man. The word privilege like implants in people's minds. People are stupid. Anyway, we're on iTunes. People if you like us, if you hate us, like all right, just let us know if we can change
I just think there's different levels of privilege that are happening, and I guess you got to say there are privilege. There are different privileges happening. If you have a better education than somebody, you're going to have better privileges, right? And so